gentlemen.
Ah! Hi. Are we here? Is it me? Is it you? Is it we? Are we here? It seems to me that we're here. Isn't that great? Instead of having instead of having like 45 minutes of tech problems and being 25 minutes late, which is what happened yesterday. Anyway, hello everybody. It's Mama Meffy. Meffy, I've been thinking about you. I've been in the gym. Consequently, I've been thinking about you. I started doing lat pull downs this week because I'm finally incorporating some upper body workouts, and I was thinking about you. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that one time that we talked about lats. That was fun. Hello, Shakespeare. Hello, Drea. What's up? The weirdo Evan. I'm so fucking I'm struggling today. Like I didn't sleep the best, but more importantly, uh I went to the gym and that was I'm kind of like just I'm just like pushing myself a lot lately, which is good. I'm realizing, and it's like continue to set in how ambitious I am. That I'm like constantly like pushing myself and unwilling to accept my current circumstances. So that's kind of a fun little thing about me. Definitely one of the thumbnails of all time. Yeah, shout out to everybody in the YouTube chat. Selena, Weirdo, Evan is in there again. Capier, Chimera, Bastille, Ben, what's up? Talk Too Easy, Louis Hannah, and Banana Brains. Hello, hello. And hello to Jazz Dog, of course. Faulty Branches as well. A Goddamn Ferret, great name. But yeah, I'm just like really aggressively pushing myself a lot lately. And anytime Jimmy asks me, hey, will you do this for work? Like, will you cover this? Will you do that? I'm like, yes, I will. I will do that. That's the best compliment I could have received. Gonna ride that high for a few days. Hell yeah. Well, mama, so I started, whoa. Mina she's having a day. She's she's a little all over the place right now. Just a little bit crazy today. Yeah, soon Luxander will show us which way is the beach. I will. And I would flex, but it's not allowed. But I'm doing Ezra. What's up, Ezra? That's a great name. I love that name. So I've been working out because of like dysautonomia and like all these fucking symptoms, and I've been really, 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 really gradual with it. And I'm finally at a point where I can start kind of pushing that, and I don't have to just stick with the easy mode stuff. Like it's probably better that I'm not pushing myself crazy, and oh shit, I didn't put my watch back on. I'm gonna go get my watch. I have a workout watch now, and it also keeps track of all of my other things. So I'm just gonna be right back. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's not gonna take too long. Okay, sorry everybody. I apologize about that. I just was like, I forgot to put on my watch after I got out of the shower earlier. That's so silly of me. I guess I'm not used to having it be a full-time thing yet because it's only been like, I guess I got it last week. I don't know. Regardless, is it a Casio calculator watch? Yes. No, this is frankly, an amount of money I should not, I didn't have. I put it on credit. I bought like a $250 watch because I want to be able to track my sleep. Because it's like, it's a disability thing. Like, this is not for fun. I don't have this for fun. I have this because I critically require information. I need to know what my heart rate is doing, and I need to know how well I'm sleeping and shit like that. So yeah, it's not like frivolous in that way, but it's still like, I feel like I have to justify it to myself because it's like, ooh, that's expensive. Anyway, where did chat go? Come back, chat. I see you. I see you. But yeah, so I'm incorporating some more work, and I'm like, oh, I can get accurate information now about how I'm doing, so I can, implement. I can do a correct amount of rest, and I know how hard I can push myself, and so that's the thing. I got a gym membership because I felt like what I was doing at home was not able to push me and get the results as quickly as I want, and the results being, an ability to tolerate standing and to tolerate heat. Fucking Jesus. And it's working. I have to say it's working. If I didn't say this already, that I had to drive. I didn't have to, but I drove during that big road trip we just went on. And on our last day, which is the day that I just like decided, I was like, oh, I think I'm just gonna drive today. Like I just wanna drive. And we ended up stopped on the highway because there was some construction thing happening on 84. And we basically were like at a dead crawl for like 30 minutes. And if y'all don't know this, air conditioners in the car don't work so good if the car is not moving, right? Like something about how it works, like if they're staying still, then all of the heat from the engine and everything is like accumulating around the engine, which means that when you push the air through, it's like the air conditioner parts can't work very efficiently. So so like, you know, we were at a dead stop. The AC wasn't working as well because we were at a dead stop, and I was in the sun to some extent, but I felt okay. Like I felt okay. And just last summer, which was before I started really taking this working out thing seriously again. I mean, I've been serious about working out in the past. I had had a lull after like a COVID infection where I was like, I'm trying not to push myself too much. And, you know, my partner and I would be like sitting in a drive-through and the AC is blasting. But then as we sit in the drive-through, the air stops being as cold blowing out. And it's like really stressful. And I find it very distressing. So those are the kind of things that I'm trying to resolve, and it's working. I'm doing well. My partner bought a watch for his disability. It's very helpful to see how restful your sleep is. It also lets you know if you had a more active heart rate than normal, and it'll say you had an active day. Yeah, exactly. This one has like a stress tracker. It like has stress points. A body battery is what it's called, where like if I'm sleeping, it's like recuperating my battery, and it recuperates different amounts depending on how well I'm sleeping. And then I start my day and it's like, oh, hey, here's how many points you have, which is kind of, I guess, like specifically it's called Visible, that I keep getting ads on Facebook for, that it's like, ooh, this is how to track your illness and stuff. But that requires a subscription. And that's one thing that I like about the watch that I chose. It has a subscription service, but you get a lot of functionality without that. It's not like you require the subscription in order to use the device. So that's kind of a huge benefit in my humble opinion. So yeah, it's like it tells me how well I slept. It tells me my heart rate, my steps. I am able to construct a workout in the app on my phone, and then it sends the workout to my watch so that all of my like, okay, start now. Okay, that's the end of your thing. Rest now for however long. Or you can have heart rate goals. So I'm like, oh, in my warm up, my heart rate goal is I want to get my heart rate up to 130, and then I can start my actual workout or whatever. So it's been extremely convenient and definitely worth the money. And everybody's talking about the jump scare thumbnail. It's because I got home from the gym. I got started later than I meant to this morning. And like a bunch of stupid shit happened on my way to the gym. So it like took forever for me to even get there. And then I got home and was like, oh, okay, well, shit, I have to like do XYZ because I'm doing dinner today. And I needed to take a shower and all that. So I was like, okay, instead of what I usually do, which honestly, it kind of stresses me out. Taking a thumbnail picture and having that up and ready like an hour beforehand, I don't really like it very much, but I also kind of enjoy having a different picture each time. So I don't know. I haven't decided what to do. But I was like, okay, this is me. I just got home from the gym. I'm going to take this shitty picture and then go take a shower and do dishes and stuff. So that's what I did today. And that's why the thumbnail is like, and I could change it now, but I don't want to. It's too fun. Oh my gosh, Drea makes such an important point here, which is don't forget to hit the like button and also click on the share button and copy the link. So true. If you click share, it pops up a little window and then you can click copy. And while I would love it if you did paste that link somewhere and posted it, you don't actually have to as far as YouTube is concerned. So can you do the same pick each time? Yeah, I could. And I have in the past, but I don't know. I kind of like that it's like, oh, this is what you're going to see when you click in. Is just, here's me, here's my outfit, here's my color. I think you should do that for every thumbnail. Like every thumbnail at like 10 o'clock in the morning, just be like, and then not update it so that when you click in, I'm showered and I'm wearing different clothes and everything. Yeah. But let me finish what I was saying earlier, which is that I was thinking about Mama Methy because I remember you being like kind of jealous of my back muscles. And I researched because I was incorporating lat pull down. That's what one of the exercises I did today. And I was like, wait, what is the difference between like a wide grip? Because that's what I used to do. I think that's what I was taught to do in my weightlifting class in high school. It was like a really wide grip on the bar when you're doing the pull downs. And versus like I see people at the gym pull in tight and like pull down that way. So I was kind of like, why? Like, what's the difference? And what I concluded is that since my goal is actually to make my upper back wider and bigger and like more muscular in my upper back, that a wide grip is going to help me accomplish that. And I don't know if I ever said Mephi, but like 100%, like I just have a little bit of fat right here. So that's not muscles there. Like when you can, like this, if I were to like, how can I do this? How can I smooth back the fatty part? If I smooth back all my extra skin and fat, I don't have very big lats. So, Evan adopted a turtle. That's so cute. I saw a turtle at a pet store this week. Sometimes my partner and I just go to pet stores. I guess that's kind of like we both kind of instigate that, where I'm like, I want to go to a pet store. Like when we went back to Kansas City, I was like, ooh, there's this pet store I used to go to when I was a kid, and I want to stop by there and just kind of look around at stuff. And we did. And it was fun. It's kind of like going to a zoo, but way cheaper. You know, you don't actually have to buy anything. You can. My mom's Apple Watch doesn't work and keeps telling her she suffered a fall when she jumps. Oh my God. Jumping is so good for you, though. It's so good for your bones. Everybody should do burpees. Don't actually. Burpees are terrible. But jumping is so good for you. What's up, Insect Hooves on Lassie? Fascinating name. But yeah, hello, Rupreem. What's up? People are still trickling in. Listen, y'all, we're just here to relax. We're just here to chit chat. Honestly, I also have like a really, probably a very difficult therapy session coming up later tonight. Like after I do the stream, I have a little bit of a break, and then it's going to be couples therapy time. And we planned in advance, like, okay, well, yeah, we're going to do some difficult stuff. So I'm just like, cool, let me dissociate a little bit. Not really. I'm trying not to dissociate. I'm trying to be mindful. And like, I'm going to need some time to relax. Insect Hoofs on Lassie is a song title. Okay, cool. I forget that my CPAP keeps data that I can look at and see what it says about my sleep based on air pressure and breathing rates. Yeah, this watch also has a pulse ox, but apparently I've seen people say that it really fucks the battery to have the pulse ox on. And I also just did a sleep apnea test in which I did not, it was like, no, you don't have sleep apnea. So I don't know that I need pulse ox overnight, but it's cool that your CPAP just kind of has that extra information. That's really neat. I've been thinking about setting a schedule. Mephi says, I've been thinking about setting a schedule to stream every Thursday evening so that fans will know when it's happening, but I'm scared to commit. Sometimes I lack spoons. Sometimes I lack spoons. Like this past Sunday, I didn't stream here because I was streaming on Calling It Now with Javon. But there are days, like a couple weeks ago, I thought that I was streaming with Javon, but then it turned out that Jimmy was doing it. And then I was just like, well, fuck, like my mental expectation for my day is fucked up now. And there was plenty of time for me to prepare and do this stream a couple Sundays ago. And I was just like, yeah, but I don't want to. How do I increase my spoons? I have like 2. Unironically, exercising. I know it's terrible and everybody hates to hear that, but I'm like, oh, it's crazy. Like I got home from the gym. I don't think I'll ever get used to how you pronounce my name. It's great. Listen, I'm gonna keep doing it because I like it. Um, reprime, reprime. I don't know. Just do it different every time. But I got home from the gym yesterday. Maybe I had an easier time yesterday because it wasn't my cardio day. I think cardio is more tiring than the kind of strength exercises that I'm doing right now. But I got home yesterday and I was like, damn, I'm going to do these dishes. And I switched Mina's cat box. We put her in a smaller cat box because my last cat was so much bigger than she is. But she's a menace. Mina the Menace. She is going to now be known as, that's her new nickname. Did I hear somewhere you got a new cat? Yeah, we got a new cat. Actually, today is her 3-month gotcha day. So we've had her for 3 months, and yeah, she's a fucking menace. She's very sweet sometimes, but she's a menace. She like, what was I even gonna say? Oh my god, I'm losing my mind a little bit. Oh yeah, she likes to play in the cat box, but also she like kicks up a bunch of cat litter every time she's done, and so she kicks it over the side and out of the cat box, and then if I don't clean it up soon enough, she pees in the cat litter that's on the floor, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. So I swapped her back to the bigger cat litter box that was for Mitternacht, and actually from when we had multiple cats. So that I can put less, comparably, like less litter in there, although it's materially more cat litter. Excuse me. And so I'm hoping that she just kicks shit up less. But it was crazy. Like I got home from the gym and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do this and do this and do this, and boom, and I did it. And then I had to work, and that sucked a little bit just because of all the tech issues and everything. But I was like, damn, yeah, yesterday was like a very productive day. Another beautiful day in Portland. True. J. Jonah Luxander says Spider Mina is a menace. That's so true. Yeah, Dizzy points out that exercise is fraught with people with ME/CFS. So yeah, obviously, I feel like it's like a vanishingly small minority of people, and I know that Jazz Dog doesn't have ME/CFS, so that advice obviously does not apply to you. I don't really care about this that much because I don't have ME/CFS, and I feel like people are really fucking sensitive about it, but I have seen that some very, very, very conservative types of exercise, similar to the program that I did, can be useful, but it's like, if you're like doing a low level of cardio for literally 3 minutes and then build up from that, but I don't fucking know. They don't know enough about ME/CFS, and we need to put more research into studying it and like more funding into studying it because of how intense the suffering is for people with ME/CFS. But yeah. ME/CFS stands for, I think it's like myoencephalitis. It's ME/CFS, chronic fatigue syndrome. And basically, it's like if you exert yourself and you literally have flu-like symptoms afterwards, and it's progressive usually if you try to keep pushing yourself, and there's usually a crash between like 12 to 36 hours after the exertion, and it's like basically doing normal stuff. Like doing normal stuff makes you like crash in a way where you can't get out of bed anymore. If y'all don't know, Physics Girl, if you don't know Diana from Physics Girl, she got long COVID and it basically gave her ME/CFS. Like long COVID and ME/CFS are not the same, but she basically has ME/CFS after a COVID infection. Because ME/CFS, it seems like it is a lot of the time triggered by a viral injury, but like she has been in bed for 2 years She was totally perfectly healthy. She had just gotten married and everything. She got COVID, and she has not been able to really get out of bed much. She's made some videos that are talking about like even just looking out the window would cause her to crash, and her brain was like couldn't make sense of what was happening outside. Her husband is her full-time carer now, basically. And yeah, it's like really fucking shitty. And that is why I take COVID so seriously, right? Like the chance that I could be literally bedridden and completely dependent on someone else. That Diana has, she has spent years, like not even, okay, she recently regained the ability to play video games. I'm just letting that hang for a second. Imagine being so sick that you cannot play video games, So she's in a better place now, obviously. Like, she was able to make a video, and, it kind of looks like she's wearing a little eyeliner in this video, but, I'm just saying, like, she seems like maybe she's well enough to do a little bit of makeup. I don't know. But at one point, she cut off all of her hair because it was just so hard to maintain her long hair in bed all day. In bed all day with, like, noise canceling headphones on and a sleep mask over her eyes, just in bed all day. It's not like relaxing. You just can't do anything. And this is one of the risks of catching COVID, that it will just do that to you. That you can go from totally normal, and then you're like, ooh, I'm like getting more and more and more tired until you can't fucking get out of bed anymore. So anyway, that's why ME/CFS is so serious, and it is tough. Like, trying to exercise and do a lot of the normal stuff that gets recommended to people can make you just dramatically worse. So where is best to ask a question? I am looking at that chat. So if you want to ask your question, I will see it in that chat. I may or may not answer it because sometimes I get distracted and just talk consecutively for minutes and minutes on end. But yeah. And there's very little sympathy for extreme disability like that. Yeah. And there's not very much funding, and there's not very much research, and we don't understand the underlying mechanism for ME/CFS. Like, we suspect that there is it's like maybe something about your mitochondria, that your cells are having a difficult time regenerating their energy because of mitochondrial dysfunction. But, like, there isn't enough data on it, unfortunately. Legasp, Lux talk on their own stream. How absolute dare. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, this is a just chatting stream, and sometimes I straight up ignore the chat for several minutes at a time. Dizzy says, today is a good day regarding having ME/CFS, but not a great day. On less than good days, I can't even use my phone. On bad days, I can't have the TV or any lights on. Yeah, it's my heart goes out to you. That's so incredibly difficult. And I hope that with seemingly like this increase in people who have ME/CFS from COVID, and like long COVID being so similar to ME/CFS, I hope that we get more research into it soon. Bobtail Trucker, what are we doing? Coming in with a $100 donation. Here's a random distraction. Cheers. Cheers. Thank you. That's so generous. I appreciate that. And you know what? That gets us to that's our stream goal for today. Although, just everybody, full disclosure, I don't actually receive super chats until next month, at the end of the month. So whenever it is in a given month, I don't get it until like 3 weeks into the following month, and YouTube takes like 30% of your money. So I will still be accepting donations today, especially to the website chat, since I do receive that money basically tomorrow. But that's still super generous, and I will appreciate having that money for groceries in a month. Yeah. It's already flexing time. We can do flexing, or we can do Mina, I guess. But I guess it's a good time to do a flex, because I see like this. I want this to be more defined. I'm not really focusing on my biceps right now. I am going to be doing lateral, like latissimus pull downs. Oh my God. With the 10 gifted memberships. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. Shout out to everybody who just got a free membership. Yes. That's just going to be popping up on screen for a while now, but like, we're doing it. Hell yeah. Thank you so much. Have Mina flex. True. That would be really funny. Everyone asked for Gayfesh's autograph as he is a star of my latest song. Yeah. Also, yeah, hi. Yeah, hi, Gayfesh. I saw you come in and I was like, hell yeah. And I don't know why I just didn't say your name, but you're here and I see you. I'm so excited for our episode of the podcast that we're going to record next week because we just watched Star Trek Into Darkness from, I want to say 2011. I don't actually know what year it came out. Star Trek Into Darkness, 2013. Wow, it was 4 years after the previous one. Anyway, that movie was super bad, and I'm not going to blow all my load now because the podcast episode isn't going to come out for a few more weeks, but boy, is that a bad movie. I know, I was just telling everybody that I'm like halfway not paying attention to chat sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, but that's the whole point. We're here to do just chatting. It's good to have friends, though. Listen, it's good to have people you talk to on a regular basis. Flex the kitten. Yeah, should I, like, hold her up and, like, flex? Have you seen those videos that it's, like, or I think I even saw a book that was, like, cat yoga, how to incorporate your cat into your yoga. Because, you know, you get out the yoga mat, you sit on the floor, and your cat's like, hey, what are you doing? What is this? What are we doing? I'm going to lay on top of you, or I'm going to attack your ankles. What are we doing? And so I just think it's funny, the idea of just, you know, figuring out how to incorporate your cat into your process. It's cool shit. Yeah, JJ fucking Abrams, dude. Someone just asked me a question.
Yeah.
Bobtail Trucker, thank you for another $20 super chat. As a trans girl, I approve of the positivity of Lux's bravado. Thank you so much. Thank you. I gotta update this now. Let's say, okay, so we got to, and that's $120. I'm not incorporating the memberships because I don't know what they cost. I just usually don't count them. Like, I know that they're $5, but I just typically don't count them because of all the YouTube fuckery that goes into how they charge me from, like, all the money that they take out of it. Cat. So if we get another $80, I will force Mina to be on camera. Hell yeah. Thank you, though. I'm non-binary and not a trans woman, but I know that a lot of people think that I'm a trans woman, and that's okay because being trans is great, and being a trans woman is great. Put my chat back where it goes. There we go. YouTube is warning me that if I type here, everyone will know I'm a subscriber. Oh no! Hi, Ben. How's it going? I love your profile picture is still the Jesus robes. That's very good stuff. Appreciate that. It's very amusing to me. Oh, bulk buying memberships goes at a discount. Okay, cool. $49.90. Okay, you know what? This one time, I'll make an exception, but I usually don't add them to the total. Partially because I am trying to encourage people to donate directly through the website. But I'll add them to the total. And that way, we only have $30 more. Right? Yeah, because that brings us up to $170 out of $200. If we get $30 more, I will go get Mina. I've learned a trick with Mina, which is that if you put on something stimulating on the television, she will just chill the whole time. No one can know that Lux and I know each other. I know, it's a secret. It's a secret. But Mina, I actually like held her up in my arms for 10 solid minutes the other day. I put on a video of mice going through a mouse maze or whatever, and she just like hung out in my arms for 10 solid minutes. And then I put her down because I was like, okay, this is kind of uncomfortable for me holding you up here. And it's getting a little warm and uncomfortable. So yeah, birds, she loves birds. I found out that she likes mice videos. My partner played her a video with cats in it, which is not a decision that I would have made. I'll get to that in a second. That's not a decision that I would have made because apparently in the video of cats interacting with each other, a couple of the cats like got in a fight and they were like, meow, and she got freaked out and upset and left. So I wouldn't do that. I have to be careful of animals on the TV because the dogs will start hopping in front of the TV and I'm afraid they'll knock it over on themselves. Yes, yeah, if we didn't prevent her from doing so, she would go up to the monitor or the TV and try to attack whatever's on the show, like try to grab at it or whatever. So usually we treat that as, okay, here's lap time or being held. So we're just going to hold you in place. I scared your cat with the cat sounds. Listen, I've had cats my whole life. Apparently my impression of cats getting in a fight is so good that it freaks out actual cats. That's solid. Anyway, thank you, Bobtail Trucker, for another very generous $50 donation. Holy fucking shit. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. Man, it sure makes it feel... You know, do you ever get those days where you're like, man, I don't know if it's worth it anymore? And then you're like, oh, okay, I guess it's worth it. So that definitely has contributed to my overall feeling that streaming is, you know, even just hanging out streaming is still worth it. I don't have to do politics in order to be successful. You know what I mean? So, oh, come on. Where did chat go? Come back, chat. Okay, I'll go get the cat. Where is she? Are you in here? Nope, she's not in here. I will get the cat. Oh. Here comes the baby. Here comes the baby. Here comes the baby, and she's a baby and a baby. I know, you're so good. Hello. Hi, baby girl. Hey, pretty. Here, I'll put on some cat TV for her and see if she'll... Let's see. What are my recent searches? Okay, apparently it's not showing up in my previous searches. That's kind of annoying. Cat. Wait, I can't see my keyboard. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, you stay here. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the volume here. There you go. You got squirrels. Will you look at the squirrels? See? There's a squirrel on the television now. And even though there's no sound, she is enraptured. You pretty baby girl. She looks a bit high on something. She definitely isn't. That just is what she looks like. Thank you, Bobtail Trucker, for another $10. In the end, it is worth it. The patience of the process is always discouraging. Right, yeah, it can be tricky. My cats like silvervine sticks. Also, don't let them near spider plants. They're hallucinogenic to cats. Yeah. She's pretty good. She doesn't really bother my plants. Yeah, she's locked in. Either cat is huge or Lux is small. She's not... She weighs about like 9.5 pounds. She's just very floofy. This is my first long-haired cat. Actually, she's lost her winter coat a little bit. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but she's a way less floofy around her neck area now. No, you can't go over there. You don't need to go over there. See what I mean? She's like, I want that squirrel. You're such a pretty girl. But yeah, she was like way floofier in her like her mane, you know, her like her neck area. My cat doesn't mess with any of our plants except the catnip for obvious reasons, so we had to hang that from the ceiling so we can't reach it. The next time I go to the farmer's market, I want to get her some cat grass and see if she likes that. Would you like some cat grass? She's so funny. He's so funny. Spider plants are hallucinogenic to cats. That's crazy. My cat gets his own because that's the only plant he has ever chewed on. I told him not to do drugs. Yeah, you tuned in at just the right time. Exactly, in a box. Thank you for stopping by. She recognized the exploitation of her labor, but has no words to express her dissent. That's true. She has such a pretty pattern. She does. She's like a piebald, silver tabby, I guess is kind of how you would describe it. Are you so good? Now there's birds. Oh, we've switched from squirrels to birds. Her little tail is just going. Oh my god, you're so funny. You're so funny. It's only been 3 months, but I would kill for her. Is she a calico? No, I don't think so. She doesn't have any brown on her. I think calico cats usually don't have any white either. No, you don't need to go over there. You're so good. You're such a good girl. You're such a good girl. I love you. Do you see Kitty over there? That's you. That's you way over there. Okay, I put you down now. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. You good girl. Thank you. Thank you for enjoying that with me, y'all. I appreciate the opportunity. What's Cat's name? Her name is Mina. 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 It's a little diminutive. Are you such a good girl? You gonna hang out? Yeah? Oh, I see. Okay. You such a good girl. Yeah, you're okay. Oh, okay. I see what's happened. Hold on. I gotta fix. Oh, I gotta fix something for her. Hold on. You're such a good girl. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're a baby. She is a baby. She sometimes when I put her down and we get done with the cat TV, she wants to get into a window. You know, like she gets done with the cat TV and she's immediately like, I'm not done with birds and stuff. You being silly? You such a good girl. I know. You look so different. Yeah. Anyway. I don't know what you think is about to happen. Are you all riled up and now you want to play? She is definitely all riled up. Is Mina the boss? Yeah, she is she's very bossy. My partner and I, this is something that we have kind of you know, when you're in couples therapy at first, you are like doing a lot of like, let's establish why we like each other kind of stuff and like how are we similar and everything. So she nothing to do with she. Didn't need to say she at all. What are you fucking doing, dude? My partner and I are both kind of like very strong personalities. And so Mina, she can only boss us so much because we are both very strong personalities. So if I'm like, no, I'm done with you, or like, no, don't do that, or whatever, those are, you know, it's like that's just what the rules are, right? Good girl or a menace. Both. Like sometimes you'll be like playing with her and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna leave now, and she's like, bitch, I'm not done, and she'll follow you and like swipe at you, and if you keep walking she'll like keep chasing you. It's like, okay, calm the fuck down, I'm done. Play all done. It's like looking meaningfully at her. um yeah, it's wonderful. Calico cats definitely have white. Okay, I guess calico are usually orange and black and white and look real distinct. She's closer to having a snowshoe coat pattern. Okay. All cats are both. Exactly. All cats are good and also a menace. Bye, Eggy Jones. Have a good rest of your day. Mitternacht was never a menace. I don't think there was ever a time. I mean, I guess after we moved here, there were some times where he would get places he wasn't really supposed to get, but he didn't knock stuff over on purpose or anything. He was just very sweet. So he's the one cat who's kind of an exception, where I'm like, I don't know that he was ever a menace. Done with human, not with visual stims. I mean, she would have continued to sit here and watch the TV. I was just like, I'm warm and I want to put her down now because holding her is, for an extended period of time, not super comfortable. But she does look like Snowshoe. What is that? I gotta look it up now. Snowshoe cat? Not really. Maybe it's hard to see on camera, but all of the dark parts of her fur are tabbies. It's like tabby stripes. She's just also like long haired, so I don't think the stripes are as obvious because she has like 3-inch long hair. But yeah, she's getting into her summer coat now, and so she's looking a little bit more like a normal cat right in this area. But it's weird. It's like it changed the whole profile of her face where, we got her in February and she was all and now she's like refined. She's screaming in the living room right now. We have only one rule: no jumping on kitchen bench tops. Pretty much everything else goes. Yeah, that is also a rule that we have in our house, but she doesn't know that rule yet. She only knows that if I see her about to jump up on the counters in the kitchen, that I go, like, no. I tell her no, and I'm like, get out from there. But she is so graceful. The most graceful cat I've ever had, because she's silent. She jumped on the kitchen counter the other day while my partner and I were hanging out in like the dining room area, I guess. And it was totally silent. We just looked over and we're like, what the fuck are you on the counters about? But she just like jumped up there silently and didn't knock anything over. One of my dogs took a long time to learn all done. His hunger for hands knows few bounds. Yeah, it is. It is. That's so true. Mina's hunger for hands knows no bounds. By the way, like, do you see this one? It's it's got to be prominent for it to be showing up on my alabaster skin on stream here. But she really, really got me yesterday. She was like holding my hand in place, and something happened, and her thumbnail caught my wrist, and like I could hear it. It was like rip, it like ripped, and I bled. But she's that's just a part of playing with a cat. And there's a bunch more little tiny marks that you can't see on camera because it just blows out my white skin. But yeah, this is my playing with Mina hand, and she gets me sometimes. But she's a sweet girl. I have scars from like playing rough with my cat when I was 7, where I would deliberately like grab his belly and he would do his bunny kicks and stuff. That's always been me. I've always been, let me get hands on, let me play with the cat. I'll use a toy sometimes. She loves strings, but the problem is that she will chew on stuff, and like so she'll basically like swallow bites of whatever string toy we're trying to play with her with. So I haven't really found a good alternative for that. It's like, oh, is there a strong enough plastic or something that she can't bite through it? Because my partner made her a leather toy, and yeah, she would just kind of chomp on the leather and then gradually like bite a bit of it off. And then I'm like, fucking, she just ate like a piece of leather that's like 3/4 of an inch. And I Googled it, and it was like, yeah, you should really not let that continue. And I was like, okay, it's too sad for her. She doesn't get to play with strings anymore. Ooh, about a month ago, my cat managed to scratch me inside my nostril. Yikes. Yikes. That's crazy. Mina is mostly learning the all done command because I give her treats. Although I've incorporated it with play too. I'll say like, play all done as I'm folding up the string toy and placing it down and show her my empty hands. And then when she gets done with treats, because I actually have to give her treats, like I guess in an ideal situation, maybe more times a day. But right now I give her treats basically twice a day that they're really crunchy treats to clean her teeth off. Because when we got her, she had like gingivitis. So it's like crunchy. And I give her those. And then when we do all done, same thing, hands. And she knows it because I've tricked her. I'm trying to get her to hang out in the bedroom. She doesn't really want to. But I was like, okay, let me just try to, maybe incorporate some positivity, show her that the bedroom is a good place to be. So I would bring her into the bedroom and give her the treats there. And then when I would go all done, she just like, okay, bye. And like leaves the bedroom. She's like trots out like, okay, I'm done being in here now. So she definitely understands the words and what they mean. I love cats, but I am a plant girly mainly. I had like 20 or 30 plants but when we moved up here. I got rid of some of them, but some of them I tried to bring with us and they just died catastrophically because it was way too cold driving up here. And I didn't really do enough to protect them from freezing, but yeah. Not cat related, but I learned I'm allergic to dog saliva because my wife taught our dog to kind of grab our wrists when he wants head scritches. Oh no, that's a terrible time to learn. It's like, oh boy, now I'm allergic to the dog. Cool, that's good. One of my cats is super odd and stops us when he's done with pets. He puts his paw on our hand and stops it from petting him, but no claws. He's so gentle when he says no more. Oh, that's so sweet. Mina. Okay, so I want to tell you this and say it this way. Mina chooses violence every day. Mina chooses violence every single day. Petunias. Ooh. Petunias. I want to look at a picture of petunias so that I know what they look like. I love knowing what flowers are. Petunias. Oh, that's so cute. They're so sweet looking. Ooh, there's some really pretty varietals of petunias. You can get some really cool looking petunias apparently. Those are cute though. That's so nice. So pretty. Like I said, you say cats choose violence every day. Mitternacht never chose violence. He never chose violence. Pretty much never. And yeah, every single day. So if Mina doesn't want to be pet, she's like, guess what? It's time for throwing down. It's time to throw. I feel like there was a song that I was gonna. Oh yeah, it's a Tenacious D song. Throw down. That's what she's ready to do at any moment. She's just prepared for violence at all times. And I appreciate that about her. I think it's really funny and really sweet. But she doesn't like take it seriously, She doesn't for those of you who are just coming in, we're talking about my cat Mina, who if you take it back a little bit, you get to see her on the screen. But she bites, but she doesn't bite hard enough to bleed. And I know that she could. Like I feel pretty confident that she could bite hard enough to make us bleed. But she mostly only ever makes me bleed by accident because I'm moving around a lot. And she's trying to like grab me or hold me still or pull me in closer or like get me to stop touching her back paws, which they're off limits. If you're ever like trying to get Mina to play and you can't get her to like play, you just start touching her back feet and she's like, ah! she hates it. It's very funny. She's so sweet. I love having cats. I was doing a stream with Ari Mermaid recently. It was the first time I've done a stream with Ari because Jimmy had a migraine and he was like, wow, please let me leave. And Ari got her dog to, the dog put its paws on her lap and like was able to get partially in the chair, and it just started licking her all like this. And I was like, wow, I hate that. Like just for myself. So I guess this is the critical difference between a cat person and a dog person is, I see a dog doing dog things like licking all over you, and I'm like, that'll be a pass from me on that. But then I see cats doing stuff, and I'm like, you're perfect. Every single cat I see, no matter what it's doing, I'm like, you're perfect, and you were right to do that. Hey, Quantum Chaos, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat. But yeah, so I think that's what makes me a cat person, is that I see cats doing cat things, even when they're being violent. I'm like, hell yeah, cats. And whenever she'll be like actively biting, she's like, and I'm like, oh, what a sweet baby. Oh, she's so good. She's so sweet. So that's funny. My cats hate having their paws played with as well. Maybe it's a general cat thing. She doesn't really mind her front paws being touched. Like, she doesn't really react to that at all. But it's her feet, her back paws, her feet. She's like, we're gonna fight. From 0 to 100 pretty much immediately. Got fired and am now poor and nobody wants to hire me. Boo. Yeah, it's tough. My younger sibling is looking for a job, and even at that level where you're like, I'm just trying to get like literally any shitty retail job, and it's still taking quite a long time. So yeah, it's really tough in that space right now of, everything is automated. AI is just like automatically removing a bunch of shit from the pool, like a bunch of applicants from the pool, and you never hear back, and da-da-da-da-da. So it's tough. I feel you on that for sure. Cats make you earn their affection. Dogs just give it away. That's true too. Yeah, Hank Green said in a recent video, he was interviewing Siobhan Thompson, that he needs a pet who's going to tell him when he's being a bad friend. And I feel similarly to that. Yeah, I don't want... I mean, I'm sure that someday I'll get a dog. I think it's definitely going to happen at some point. If I have a house, I like the idea of having a dog. That's like a form of security. Obviously, I want to make plenty of time to train the dog. So whenever I get a dog, I might take like several weeks off work to train the dog. I want to go hiking. Having a dog means I can go hiking alone much more safely. So yeah, I'm sure I will get a dog at some point. But yeah, right now it's like, no. Oh my goodness. Someone told me that the new In-N-Out location in Beaverton had over 1,000 applicants. Jesus Christ. I wonder, is that all real people though? Or is some element of this, are there AI applications? Like, what reason could there be for that? Because I have recently come to understand that sometimes companies put out a job listing, but that job is not real. Like, there is no job. And they do that to like increase the value of their company, or like make it look like they're hiring, or make it look like they have more competition or something. So there is this thing now where the jobs being posted are not even real, like that there is no job. No one will get hired for that position because it's not a real job, like not a real position in the company. But I wonder if it's like 1,000, are there that? I mean, yes, there's a lot of homelessness in Portland, so I could see that, if a new In-N-Out location opens up, they might get a lot of applications. But like, that seems like a lot. 1,000? In-N-Out is known as a high-wage employer for fast food. I mean, yes, but also it's fucking Oregon, so the minimum wage is $15 anyway. It's like, I don't know. I love hiking, just day walks, or do you also camp? So I am working on my health to get to a point where I can go hiking. I am not yet at that place, especially because currently I don't have anyone to go hiking with and I don't have a dog. My partner doesn't really give a shit about hiking. Like maybe I can rope him in if I'm like, ooh, you want to go to this one beautiful location? Let's go to that one beautiful location and like walk around and everything. But I overheat very easily. I have struggles with like cardio and being upright and everything. So I'm working really hard on my fitness right now to get to that place. There's all kinds of stuff I would love to do. I bought a bicycle last year. I want to be biking. I would love to go hiking and see all the beautiful country. I just moved here and it's fucking beautiful. And there's another thing that I was going to say. Oh, climbing. I haven't been rock climbing, and we only ever did it indoors, like at a rock climbing business. I would love to go rock climbing again because I know that there are good gyms here for it, and I just haven't gotten to do that yet because I'm so like working on a deficit. But I'm making good progress right now, so I'm hoping to get into doing those things, like I guess later this year. That would be cool. Main takeaway: corporations are evil. True. As someone currently trying to hire an engineer, yes, there are generated applications, applicants, and even people trying to use generated avatars or LLMs during interviews. It's trash all around. Last round of applications to the position received 300 plus applications during the 1 week window it was open. But are those real people? Is kind of the core question is, in this pool of applicants, is it like, okay, it's real people using AI, but are there, basically what I'm thinking is, are there any bots? Like, are there any bots? So it's like overwhelming the applicant pool? Like, is there some incentive for maybe a competing corporation to generate a bunch of fake applications to just drown out like the potential pool of qualified applicants? Bouldering is better than rock climbing. That's what I mean. I went bouldering indoors, and we never did the harness and strapping in and all that shit. It was just like climb up the wall and then jump down. Well, Lux, you listed every physical activity I enjoy, and I'd love to be your activity buddy, but I am Appalachian, not PNW. True, yeah. I am gonna start. I would like to be more aggressive in trying to make friends. There's like a local crochet group that I've been wanting to go to since fucking January, and I just haven't made the time to go do it. And it's on Saturdays, and now I work on Saturdays sometimes, which is a fucking bummer. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to get into this healthier mindset where I'm like, yeah, I want to go places and I want to see people and I would love to have friends in physical space. I just don't, because I work at home and I don't have to go anywhere. Hiking is best using the Merlin app to identify nearby birds by their calls. I cannot describe to you how little I care about birds, but good to see you, Green Garbador. I appreciate you. I guess I care a little bit more about birds than I used to. I just don't like birds. I've lived with a bird is the problem. I've lived with 2 birds is the problem. What if we're all really bots? Quantum says, I've interviewed for 3 different jobs at the same company in the last 2 months, and all 3 went to internal hires instead, and they only interviewed external because they have to. Very annoying. Fucking true. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's, yeah. Like, the yanking you around bullshit that they do is like, why the fuck did you even take any external applicants if you knew you weren't going to hire internally anyway? Hi, baby girl. What are you doing? She's being weird. I'm also new to Portland and trying to make friends. It's rough. Lena, where did you move from? I just got here and I accidentally licked the stream. Whoa, Nelly. Whoa now. Whoa, Nelly. Tea for Tea night at the Workers Tap is a great place to meet people. Is that in Portland? Workers Tap and Workers Tap and Cafe on 12th Avenue in Portland. Okay. Potential. There's potential for that. Birds aren't real. They're just robots for the government. I know, I've heard that. I've been working on going places on my own without my significant other, and my first outing was actually to hear Forrest give a talk in my city. Fuck yes. Hell yeah. That's cool. I used to be so much more bold. I used to go places by myself a lot more, and I just don't as much now, and I'm bummed by that. You know, like I want to go places with my partner and I want to spend time with him and like incorporate him in things that I like to do, but also I would like to go places and do things, and I just am so much more fearful now than I used to be, weirdly. Mini Mina. Oh, is she so good? Oh, you baby girl. You sweet angel who's never committed a crime. Are you a good girl? Does someone need a friend in Portland? Taking applications. Drea is taking applications. Lena, if you're... Okay, you're from Salt Lake City, been here since February, and I live near Hawthorne and 20th. Well, listen. I want y'all to make friends, okay? How many Portlanders are in here? Y'all need to make friends with each other.
In Bay, he got a tier 1 subscription. Rawr.
In Bay, that's what the TS thinks that your name is. But thank you, NBJ, for the tier 1 sub. Mayo side, mayo side, mayo side. It's really not that bad. The mayo, it's not overwhelming in the chat right now. I moved here to Portland from San Diego last year. It's been a change. Not used to all the rain and wearing layers and stuff. I will say, I don't know if you experienced summertime here last year, May, but it is fucking hot and dry in the summer here. Thankfully, it doesn't get hot until usually a little bit later in the day, but it can be quite rough here in the summer at times. Does your partner also love Mina? Of course. Yes. Yes, he loves Mina. She's a sweet girl, and she loves us. I think. It's been 3 months now. It's finally... I think that this is when you finally can be like, okay, this is sort of our day-to-day routine. We've not been perfectly stable for her since she got here because we did leave the house for 5 days. My sibling was here, but, you know, she was like, oh my God, you guys. And then she seemed a little bit nervous. Like, I went to the gym the week after we got back, and she was like, what are you doing? You're putting your shoes on and you're going to leave? What are you doing? And I was like, chill, it's fine. I was only gone for like 2 hours. It's fine. Oh my gosh. I used to be a lot more open going out and meeting people, and then Trump won in 2016, and I instantly developed agoraphobia. That's tough. Yeah. I feel like I'm at a place where I'm like, I need to be kind of proactively not developing agoraphobia. You know, the other day, I had to get a gynecological exam because it's been 3 years or whatever. And I'm like establishing new patient care stuff. So I had a gynecological exam, pap smear situation. And I was like, I'm just going to go do everything else that I was already planning to do today because I don't want...
$5. Hold on. One more try. Cause frack the ridiculous job market and frack the fact that even many progressives are ableist and ignore basic airborne illness public health responsibilities.
True. Thank you very much for the $5 donation, Evan, and I feel you. I saw that FD Signifier put out a video not too long ago about how COVID is still really fucking important to pay attention to and everything. So I'm not the only leftist, but I am. It feels like this is the most minority I've ever been in my life. And that's speaking as a trans, queer, non-binary, skeptic, atheist, leftist. So, like, this is the most, like, most marginalized position I've ever held, is being like, you should still wear a fucking mask. But yeah, so I'm happy to represent. Should I take more pictures out in public wearing a mask? Because, like, I put my money where my mouth is. Actually, in the thumbnail of today's stream, it probably is not super visible, but I have deep lines in my face from wearing a mask because I went to the gym for 2 hours. But yeah. Have you ever heard of Chinook Wawa? No, Chinook Wawa. That sounds like Chinook salmon. Chinook Wawa. Is that a place? Excuse me. It's a language. The Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. Okay, cool. Oh, Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. I just saw that name because we actually just held our primaries. Masked picks are neat, yeah. So we just had our primaries this week in Oregon, like voting for the governor's primary and like other local stuff, and there was a gas tax that we were voting on and everything. And one of the tough things about local stuff is that sometimes you have like a nonpartisan position, but I'm still trying to vote in a kind of partisan way, you know, like for county level positions or city level positions. And those things are, you don't register as, they're not running as a Democrat or a Republican. It's a nonpartisan position. But what you can do is look at their positions and at their endorsements. And I saw one person I voted for because the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde had endorsed them. And I was like, having a hard time figuring out where they are on those things. And I was like, oh, if one of the native tribes endorsed this candidate, then I'm going to like support them because that seems like that's a progressive situation. Yeah. The mask lines are quite visible in the thumbnail. Good. Proof. I put my money where my mouth is. I don't leave my fucking house without wearing a mask. I get all my shots, but I don't really wear masks. I mask when I feel ill, but not every day when I'm out. So that's kind of the problem with COVID specifically. So lots of illnesses are contagious before you develop symptoms, but COVID is especially bad in that way, where you can be contagious and you're at your most contagious right before you develop symptoms. So you are basically at the greatest risk to people around you when you are asymptomatic at the I am not showing symptoms yet stage. So yeah, unfortunately with COVID, we can't rely on like, how do you feel? Do you feel sick or not? Do you have symptoms or not? So unfortunately, it is one of those things where like, in order to do public health correctly, we do actually need to be wearing it all the time. And that somebody who's coughing next to you is actually perhaps less of a risk to you than somebody who is not showing any symptoms on the other side of you, right? Like, so, yeah. Yeah, Evan makes the great point, yes, that the vaccines are great and helpful, but they do not prevent you from getting and spreading the disease. Yes, they can reduce the severity of your illness and they can reduce your overall viral load, but that does not mean that you are not getting other people sick. How do you feel about the gas tax? From what I understand, it's not very popular around here. Okay, so from what I understand, and we're going to get into the politics, I guess, now, that so ODOT, the Oregon Department of Transportation, we're trying to get them funded, right? We need to continue expanding and, improving our roads. We just had a big fucking landslide situation on Highway 101. I want to say it was the 101 that like part of it slid off because there was like a really, really heavy rains. So we need to fund ODOT. So the purpose of the gas tax was to fund ODOT. It would have been a 6-cent increase per gallon on the gas tax. It would have also pretty much doubled the cost of registering your car. So like, when you go and you re-register your car, that it would have basically doubled the price on pretty much all of them, like motorcycles, vehicles, RVs, everything gets doubled effectively, which is to say it goes from like the motorcycle registration is $40 and then it would have bumped it up to like $80, right around there. And the point of that was to try to get ODOT funded. And the problem with it is that basically they had whittled it down over the course of the legislative sessions last year. They had kind of taken the amount that was asked for and they had whittled it down to like, okay, now we're only going to fund it 2% or whatever. Like it just kept getting cut. And Democrats ended up having to pull a special session to pass any funding package for ODOT. It just was like they just weren't going to have continuing funding or whatever until they took this special session. And it was passed on party lines. Democrats support, Republicans opposed. And then the people put a referendum that was like, hey, we don't like this increased taxes. We want to have, put certain parts of the bill to a vote. And they succeeded. And so we had the vote and the referendum, and the gas tax lost by a lot. I think that turnout for this particular election was kind of low anyway, which is crazy because you get it fucking mailed to you. I guess to be fair, it did take me like 2+ hours to thoroughly research every part of the ballot and make sure I was voting for what I thought I was voting for. But I do think it's it's like kind of shitty that the gas tax failed because we struggled last year to put together a funding package for literally the fucking roads that we drive on. And I don't think that the solution should be that individual people pay more. I don't think that, like, it just feels okay. Like, yeah, I want ODOT to get funded. And so I voted in favor of the tax because I'm like, I want ODOT to be funded, and we're going to still have to pass more funding for them next year. Because the amount that was on that law was not enough. So I'm like, could we have found out a different way to fund it? Like, could we have added, like, I think that maybe part of the referendum was that there was a payroll tax or something. But I'm like, yeah, I do think that we should find a way to fund ODOT that isn't like every single person who lives in Oregon now has to pay double for their car registration every year, right? I'm like, I'm willing to do that because I want the fucking roads to be funded. Like there's all kinds of like, we've got many bridges that need to be retrofitted because they were built before we knew about the big one. And yeah, so we need all kinds of stuff in that regard to make sure our roads are functional and everything. But yeah, I don't know what the good solution is because I'm not a policymaker. That's not like my job. But I would like to see, why are we taxing the people and not corporations, right? People don't have that much money. Corporations do. If anyone wants to see just how bad Oregon is, read up on the new I-5 bridge. They keep spending fortunes just spitballing ideas for. It has more than doubled from the original estimates. Yeah, the bridge, I believe what you're speaking about is the bridge between Oregon and Washington in Portland that like links Portland and Vancouver. It's like two massive, scary fucking bridges. They're not scary because they're rickety. It's just scary to me because I don't like being on bridges, apparently. But yeah, like I saw that the calculations, like the estimate has more than doubled. Now it's going to cost like a fucking $1 billion or something to replace that bridge or build a new bridge. That's crazy. That's wild. Oregon State is horrifically inept when it comes to spending efficiency. They would rather just raise taxes than use the money they do get better. Right. And like, I agree that is an issue as well. Right. That's part of why I'm not super psyched about like Tina Kotek, but she is the nominee. I'm going to vote for her. Because I still think that we'll be in better hands with literally any Democrat than versus literally any Republican, basically. You came to the wrong city if you hate bridges. That's so fucking true. There's a part of I-5 in Portland where you are literally like on a basically like it's not a bridge in that it is not crossing a river, but there's a part of I-5 that for some reason it's like you go up a big hill basically, and then you just are on a skyscraper. You just are driving at the level of like a skyscraper, and it's fucking terrifying. I was white knuckling. My feet got so sweaty on that part of I-5. Like, and I do not like driving in Portland. I avoid it at all costs. I live near Portland, but not in Portland, and I do not like driving there. It is scary, and I don't like it. Yeah, why wouldn't we tax the fuck out of Amazon, who profits so much from using public roads? That would be great. Wouldn't it be great? Let's see. Hold on. COVID isn't really an issue here anymore. Australia, approximately 95% of us got vaccinated. Shots are free for the elderly. But what is that? When you say it's not a big deal, what is that based on? Because it seems like testing has gone down, and that like contact tracing has gone down. So it's like, are you guys actually doing okay? Or are people just not paying attention to this anymore? Like, do y'all have like are y'all getting what seems like a cold more often than you did 7 years ago? I do think that America is like uniquely bad in some ways about it, but I don't think it's like just not an issue globally anymore. I think that globally we all decided to stop fucking paying attention. Which is not a personal, I'm not like personally attacking you, by the way. I'm so sorry if it came across that way. This is not a failure of individuals. This is a failure systemically. This is a failure of our government. Collectively, all of our governments. The other day, you and Thinker were talking about a movie. Yeah, we were talking about Sinners, which is a film starring Michael B. Jordan and directed by, fuck, I'm losing the name right now. I can see his face. Coogler. Ryan Coogler, who is an incredibly talented director. And Sinners is a vampire horror movie that takes place in Jim Crow South, Mississippi. And it's really fucking good. And I really highly recommend watching it. Get a free 1 week HBO subscription and watch Sinners. It's so fucking good. Somehow I've been sick 3 times since the year started. Meanwhile, the year before I got sick exactly once. You know what the solution to that problem is, right? That bridge is terrifying, and I'm not one who is afraid of bridges. Specifically, you mean the bridge from Portland to Vancouver? I even drove over it, like, why do I feel like I drove over it at night? I guess earlier in the day, I drove, like, up to Seattle and then back. So I think by the time I was driving back at the end of the day, it was, like, dark. It was so scary. The fucking music scene, you know the one? Amazing. Yeah, it was so good. My buddy... I was like, hey, have you seen Sinners? And he was like, no, I don't like it. Like, oh, why are there people twerking all of a sudden? And I was like, she explained it in the voiceover. Like, she explained it at the beginning of the movie in the voiceover. And literally as the scene is happening, she is explaining it in voiceover currently. So I'm like, I don't know how you missed that, but whatever. I'm not going to push it. Yeah, it was such a good movie. So good. Excuse me. Ben, good to see you. We were talking about working out earlier. We're not talking about it now, but I just started reincorporating upper body exercises, so I'm very excited to... I'm like specifically working my shoulder. I'm trying to round out my shoulder, so I'm like working on my deltoid. I'm doing face pulls, so I'm working on the back part of my shoulder, and I'm doing lat pull downs, so I'm going to get my back... I'm doing wide grip lat pull downs, so I'm going to get my back all big. in addition to all the lower body exercises that I've been doing. So that's very exciting, and I'm good. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to have somebody to talk to about working out. Yeah. The rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I genuinely earnestly listened to Will You Go, Lassie Go a lot after watching that movie. It's such a good song. It makes me almost want to get one of those horrific gene sequencing things because I kind of want to know if I'm Irish. I don't think I am. I think I'm more like probably like German ancestry, but I'm like so curious because I'm like, I want to feel connected to my ancestors and I don't at all. And that's such a fucking bummer about the whole construct of whiteness. As I said last night when I was on with Thinker, like, I think it makes perfect sense to hate whiteness as a concept, especially as a white person, how it has robbed me of any connection with my people, with my ancestors, with you know, where did my family come from? I don't fucking know. My family's been in America long enough that I do not know where we came from previously. So you can always talk to me about working out. That's true. I'll have to send you gym pictures or something. I never did understand why they would build a drawbridge for a massive interstate. Then again, I think the I-5 Columbia Bridge was made in like the 1920s. Yeah, I have no idea. Vitamin D3, by the way, just about everyone in the PNW should be supplementing that shit. True. Did you hear about the person who couldn't conquer their fear of bridges? Yeah, they just couldn't get over it. Yeah, good going. I got one of those tests of ancestry, and while I know where my ancestors have lived, I still feel no connection to it. I mean, I think that's you have to then engender that part. You have to be like, oh, I'm gonna now learn about Irish history and like get some music and everything. Like, I think that you have to make a point to go out and get it. Now, I will say, I could see myself potentially paying for one of those services that does family lineage, where it's like, okay, here's, you know, you give your name and like, here's my mother, here's my father, here's their parents, and you can go back like a few generations. That could be more, it could be useful, and like in a way where I'm like, my biometric data doesn't belong to some fucking company now. But, you know, it's like, oh, let's find out how far back, like when did my people come to America? Like, yeah, and I want to know, if my ancestors were British and they were shitty people, I would love to know if my ancestors were shitty. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to find some incredible golden whatever. Like, I am assuming that my family did bad shit because I'm white, and like white people do bad shit. Like, they done bad shit. So yeah, it's strictly like, I just want to, you know, if I'm listening to these Scottish songs, which I think both of the songs that the Irish character sings in Sinners, I think they're both actually originally Scottish songs that were just popularized by Irish musicians. So yeah, I'm curious, and I just get to be curious for the extended future, apparently. Lux, do you consider yourself a Cascadian? I have not considered myself a Cascadian. I would now consider myself an Oregonian, but I hadn't really thought of it as a Cascadian until you just asked me that. So, like, I guess, yeah. It's been almost a year and a half. When is it going to be? It's going to be a year and a half in 2 months, I think. Because we moved here in January. It's like January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, so in July, it'll be our, like, year and a half of being here. Yeah, and I'm like invested in being here. And now that I've gone back to Kansas, it was so weird. Going back to Kansas after having been gone for a year, it's the longest I've ever not been in Kansas. And we went back for the wedding, my friend's wedding, and it was so interesting because it was like so familiar, and like the like heart-wrenching kind of like, this is where I'm from, and I'm a little bummed out that I had to leave kind of thing. But then coming back, and also it's so crazy to be like, I have been gone for a year and a half, but like all the roads are so familiar. I'm like, I do not need to pull up any GPS. I know where I'm going. I know where everything is. Oh, hey, do you want to go to the Menards? Like, okay, cool. I'm just going to go there and I don't have to pull out whatever. So now coming back, because the first time we came here, obviously it was at the end of 4 days of driving across the country with my cat and my younger sibling and my husband and a giant fucking U-Haul full of all of our stuff and pulling my car behind on a trailer. And it was really intense. And so coming here, it was, I'm like, it was very beautiful, and it was like seeing everything new for the first time and being like, oh my God, the Columbia River Gorge is so pretty. But and then like the logistics of being like, okay, what time are we gonna get there? Let's drop off this, and then like, oh, let's drop off the trailer, and then I'll drive my car behind the U-Haul to our new house, and then we have to make sure to coordinate with the landlord and pick up the key, and like, are we gonna get there at a time that the landlord is gonna be available? And then we have to get all of our shit out of the U-Haul and then take the U-Haul back. And then there's a bunch of fucking boxes everywhere. So yeah, it was just really intense. So then when we like came back, and it was so wonderful. Like, it was so wonderful. The feeling of going back to Kansas was so like weird emotionally. But then coming back here and now having been back for a couple weeks, I'm like, this is so fucking beautiful. And I love living here. And it's like, yeah, I'm like, this is my place. Like, this is where I was always meant to be, I guess, and being from Kansas is always going to be part of me and part of my history and part of my story. But like, yeah, I'm a Kansan and I'm an Oregonian. I'm bringing that Kansas vibe to Oregon. And I really love it, and it's wonderful, and I'm so deeply appreciative all the time of, I see the mountains, and I'm like, damn, that's really fucking cool, I see Mount Hood, and I'm like, damn, that's really fucking cool. That's the one, right? Mount Hood is the one in Portland. I'm not thinking of a different one. What's the one in Seattle? Or is that the one in Seattle? Because I did see that one when I went to Seattle. But that one, it's not Mount Hood. Mount Hood is the one in Portland, right? I'm fucking losing my mind right now, actually. Now I have to Google it because I can't remember basic facts. Yeah, it's the one in Oregon. Okay, cool. Yeah. But yeah, I see the mountains and I'm like, damn, that's fucking cool. And I see the trees and I'm like, damn, that's fucking cool. And I drive over the river and I'm like, damn, that's fucking cool. Rainier is the one in Seattle. Okay, cool. Thank you. Home sweet home. Yeah, it feels so good. Coming home felt so good. So yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. It's good. It feels nice. And there's St. Helens on the Washington side. Okay, cool. Classic Oregon weed strain is Mount Hood Magic. That's so funny. I've never lived in the same city for more than 2 years. Feel like I don't belong anywhere. That's tough. Yeah. Hopefully the longer you are here, the more you feel like this is the cool place to be. And the more friends you make and the more life you live, Glomps! I haven't seen a glomp in years. That's wonderful. Thank you for that. Alanarel, which is a really cool name, says, Lux, I would like to point out that you are extremely and obviously Cascadian, and it's all the more obvious when you're co-hosting on the line. Please elaborate. Please elaborate. I would love to know what about me is like, oh, you're obviously Cascadian. I'm like, I've only been here for a year and a half. Bye, Quantum Chaos. I wish you all the luck. I hope that things go well for you. I know it's really frustrating right now, but stick to it, and things will work out. Just got to keep dedicating yourself, and I hope that you have plenty of support to help you deal with the kind of inevitable disappointments of trying to search for a new job. So much love to you. Hope that things go well. I can't explain. It's just a vibe. I guess it could be that I'm a faggot. It could be that I'm a tranny. It could be that I'm a leftist. It could be that I'm a health nut. It could be that I'm a kombucha drinker. Like, I guess all of these things just mean that culturally I was always going to fit in the BNW. But Cascadian is such a cool way to think of it. I hadn't thought of it that way. Lux, you can take the person out of Cascadia, but you can't remove Cascadia from the person once it's there. I guess so, yeah. What you said something earlier as well. You should go see Crater Lake soon if you haven't. Also, Three Sisters. Yes, I would like to go. I just saw a really beautiful picture of Crater Lake. You can't go swimming there. I think they after last summer they're like we're closing the swimming in Crater Lake because of some maintenance that needs to happen. So it's going to be closed for a couple years. But it seems so beautiful. Yeah, I haven't gone to Crater Lake. Yeah, we went to the coast. I would like to go to the coast again. I'd like to go to a different set of tide pools than the ones that we saw before. And we haven't yet really been up in the mountains in the Cascade Range. I would love to do like a weekend in a snowy cabin kind of situation. That would be really fun. My partner wants to go to a place called Silver Falls because there's a shit ton of waterfalls here, I guess. I mean, I guess we drove past Multnomah, or yeah, was it Multnomah Falls on I-84? And we got to see that. So it was cool. We came up here in January initially, but having gone basically at May Day, at May 1st, to leave and come back, we got to see things so much more green and beautiful and vibrant. And obviously the waterfalls are more active during this time versus during the winter. So yeah, we got to kind of see the falls. It's good stuff. Multnomah Falls is met. It's always packed. Yeah, we just drove past. You know, it's not like I'm trying to stop and go see a tiny little... There was another waterfall along that cliffside, I think further west than Multnomah Falls. And it was one of those that's like it's up high and then it just like mists and sprays and doesn't have a place that it falls to. Like there's no like pool or anything down there. Yeah. It's just so fucking beautiful, dude. Hoping I settle here. Portland is beautiful. I work in a different neighborhood every day, and the green and the colors are beautiful. And by colors, I mean all the trees and flowers. True. Yeah. The area where I live, there are so many vibrant pink flowers, whether it's trees and bushes. And so basically like the whole spring season, you get the really early cherry blossoms, the very delicate light pink, and then gradually, as things go on, there are still now, and it's like mid-spring, so many pink, beautiful flowers. Some of the trees are done with their flower display and everything. Like the cherry blossoms are done, and there was some other really bright pink flowers that are gone now. Excuse me, but, oh my gosh, I'm drinking a zero sugar soda, and it's making me burpy, excuse me. But yeah, it's been so gorgeous. I love it here. And since leaving and coming back, I feel so much more boost of like, oh, I want to go places, right? There's nothing like 2 solid days of driving across the country and then driving 2 solid days back that makes you go like, ooh, I can really handle a road trip and I want to go places. Because there's nowhere in Oregon that I would want to go that's too far away, right? I'm from the Midwest and I am a road tripper. I actually told Alyssa that I feel weird anytime if I haven't been on a road trip recently enough, I'm like, this feels weird. Like, I need to go somewhere. I'm really hoping I can get my content creation to provide enough income that I can leave Texas permanently. I want to move back to Olympia. Yeah, for sure. And if you need any support with that, I will do my best to help. Because, yeah, I fucking am so scared for all the trans people who are still in scary places. And Texas is up there as far as scary places. Like, damn. Yeah, it's crazy. Y'all are, forgive the expression, but y'all have some balls. I got the fuck out of there. And I'm so glad I did when I did, because otherwise I would have suddenly not have a driver's license anymore. Thanks, Kansas. Go fuck yourselves. What was I about to look up? Beacon Rock State Park. I want to know where that is. Is that one of the rocks that we looked at? Did I notice that? Oh, is it on the north side? Okay, so it's on the Washington side. I'm not sure that I clocked that at the time because I was so focused on... Oh, and also, if you're driving along I-84, there's like a fuck ton of trees between you and the river at various points, so you can't even always see the river because of all the trees. So maybe, I don't know if I saw Beacon Rock. Where is that? Oh, and it's super close to the end of the journey as well. That might have been right around where we were stopped on the highway, actually. Because there was, like, construction or something. Yeah, it was construction around the Dalles. Yeah. Almond milk is horrible, chat. Oat milk, mo better. Yes, but soy milk is more nutritionally beneficial than oat milk. I think oat milk is the most similar to cow's milk in texture. But I've fully converted to soy milk. It's easy to just replace it. Is Crater Lake the bottomless one that's like crystal clear from glacier water? I think so. Crater Lake, I've never been there, but it's gorgeous in all the pictures, especially if you catch it on a sunny day. Like, gorgeous. OMG. Yeah, Beacon Rock. I need to put together a list of hikes. I've heard that Silver Falls is a pretty easy hike, so it might be a good one to go to first because it's like most of the trails are like relatively flat. Yeah, so that's probably a good place to start, Silver Falls, and then we'll see if I can increase the difficulty. How do you feel about a few hours, like 2 or 3 hours, being a long car ride for us Europeans? I mean, it makes perfect sense. It is like I don't feel that way at all in my life. Oh my god, I'm having to scrunch out my hair. I also just gave myself a haircut, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, I mean, that's a long car ride. If you're not used to it. If you're not... It's like a frame of reference, right? Your countries are all really close to each other, and your countries are really small. So going places, and you guys have trains and stuff, so you're not even used to driving long distances, right? You know, if you guys in Europe were to go several hundred miles, I feel like you're more likely to take trains and stuff. So of course, driving several hours feels like a lot because you would normally not be doing that. And driving is exhausting in a way that I think being on a train isn't, right? Like on a train, you have the ability to relax and you're not like having to stay focused as much, mentally speaking. So I bet that by comparison, driving in a car is fucking exhausting. That makes perfect sense to me. Mama says, I drive the 1.5 hours there and back between San Antonio and Austin almost every week to see friends or yell at the government. True. It's 10 hours to both of my besties. Yeah. Driving is fun and but morally bad and drivers suck. I truly think that driving has gotten much worse over the last few days. Or for a few days. Jesus. Over the last few years. I think we have like the accumulation of brain damage from COVID infections causes people to be worse drivers. Seems like the reason why that is. My partner pointed out the issue that he's running into all the time is that when people need to slow down to turn off, like, you know, let's say you're going down a road and it's like 40 miles an hour and then somebody is trying to turn to go into a parking lot or whatever. His big complaint right now is that folks are turning super duper duper slowly. And it seems like, you know, they're having trouble figuring out, they're slowing down, and then they speed up again, and it's, it's actually the next one, and then they slow down way far. When I take a turn at about, like, 16 to 18 miles per hour, typically. Like, if I'm doing a right turn. Yeah, it's like other people are just slowing way down. It's so weird. I love a long bus ride, but I don't get to do that often because I live on an island. Yeah, fair enough. Are you Sicilian, Fen? I can't remember where you live. I mean, don't get too specific if, don't dox yourself or whatever, but I didn't know you lived on an island. I got to drive most of the West Coast while my band was on tour out there, and it was incredibly beautiful, especially Oregon. Yeah, it's so gorgeous. And I would love to go. I want to see the big, big trees. I want to see the big, big trees in Northern California. So I would like to plan a road trip down to California because I've actually never been to California. I've never been in the state of California. So I would like to go see the big, big trees. And I think Northern California is quite similar to Oregon in that, like, how beautiful it is kind of way. So, yeah, very, very excited to go do that at some point. I should probably just, like, make a list of all these places I want to go and then do a timeline. Because otherwise, I'm just going to still be saying this at this time next year. Oh, I'd really love to go to Silver Falls. Oh, I'd really love to go see the big, big trees. Redwoods, sequoias. I can't remember which ones. While the big, big trees still exist. True. Shasta is cool AF. Shasta. Isn't that a soda? Or is that a place? I've never heard of Shasta before. The redwoods and sequoias are so cool. Yeah. I really loved San Francisco. I have no intentions to go to any cities in California. Like, no, I'm good. Thank you. Just take me to the woods. Let me go see the trees. Shasta is a mountain. Oh, okay. Is it in California? Shasta Mountain. Yes, it's in California. Thought I'd be cool in California. That was Chapel Roan. Ooh, that is pretty. Ooh, just doing a little Google search. That's so pretty. Ooh, yes. It's wonderful here. You can drive down the coast into Cali. It's such a pretty drive. You can't go fast, but then why would you want to? Yeah, I'm so scared of driving on the 101 now, though, after, like, they, like, landslided away part of it near, like, Tillamook. And you can always take I-5 down. But yeah, drive down the coast. Could be good. Speaking of Texas, Mephi says, if you remember the protest I organized against the anti-trans bathroom ban out to the Texas government to put the Texas government in a legal bind, things are moving forward behind the scenes and we may have some excellent news soon. Yes. 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 I saw the videos. I remember the videos from that protest that you did, and that's very exciting. I'm glad that y'all are making some moves. Kitty is here to vindicate me. I literally have no idea what we're talking about. I'm putting the baby down for a nap, but I just need to say, Portland, of all the cities I have driven through, is one of the fucking worst cities in the country to drive through. Fuck Portland. Even if the drivers were good, the whole city is designed by a drunkard. Yeah. I hate driving through Portland so much. I-5 will get you some stellar views of Shasta, but once you're out of the mountains, it is flat and boring for like 1,000 miles. Well, yeah, but I'm not going that far into California, right? Like, where are Redwood Mountains? It's like really not far, right? It's like pretty close, right? To the, not images, give me the maps. Isn't it like pretty close to the state border? Yeah, I don't need to go. Oh, I guess like Navarro River Redwood State Park is close to the coast there. I was thinking more of like in the middle next to I-5. But I guess there are like redwood parks along the coast. So consequently, you end up going further into California. Okay, fair enough. I hear you. I'll drive down the 101 if I ever go to California. I hear you. I-5 will do you. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just like... Okay, so there is also a city called Shasta, which I'm assuming is... Oh, wait. No, when I zoomed out... Oh, it's just putting Shasta on the map like it's a city. But it's just the mountain. Shasta Trinity National Forest. There is a spot that's just tagged Redwoods to the east of I-5 near Redding, California. Because I just typed in Redwoods, California. But then, like, Redwoods State Park, Navarro River Redwoods State Park, is much further south and west. Oh, well, but then there's another Jedediah Smith Redwoods State Park is just south of the California-Oregon border. So you could hypothetically go there. Del Norte Coast Redwoods State Park, also very close to the border. But that could be a nice little drive, like just hopping over to 101 and then driving the 101 down to like barely into California. Trees of Mystery is a tourist attraction in that same kind of area. That's interesting. I'm not showing you my Google Maps because I'm not going to dox myself. Redding has a really cool sundial bridge. I observed a solar eclipse there once. Ooh. Redwoods are coastal Northern California by the border, but the Sequoia is harder to get to for sure. Okay, maybe I'll plan the Sequoias later on then. If you're out by Shasta, go to Mount Lassen National Forest. It's like a mini Yellowstone. That's so cool. As much as I love Chicago, the traffic is a fucking nightmare and a half to get through. I've only been to Chicago once, and driving there was kind of scary. I was instructed that when you parallel park in Chicago, you basically have to, like, bump the car in front of you and behind you in the process of parallel parking. It was crazy. Also, I went there in, like, January. Why did my friends plan a get-together in Chicago in January? That was a dumb thing to do. Although, also speaking of that protest, if y'all remember the trans woman who was handcuffed, her name is Rai Vaz on all her socials, and she's my friend and fellow organizer, and people should go follow her. Fuck yes. Although, even more importantly, Rai is a player in a D&D game I DM. That's so fun. The big trees are so unbelievably huge, pictures do not do them justice. I went once in winter with snow on the ground, and it was practically like another world. That's what I'm here for. That's the exciting thing. I want it to feel like a totally different universe. We stopped at a rest stop where there were like a bunch of trees, and like it's just so cool. And like I drive past pretty regularly a place where it's kind of like there's a bunch of trees and then there's not really much undergrowth because I think it's being maintained, and I'm like, it's like so quiet under there. It's like, it feels so safe because a lot of the times these trees, especially like the conifers, as they're growing taller, they just kind of drop their lower branches. So you've got this like just trunk, and then it, pops out. But so you're underneath there and you're like, damn, it's like hushed, I'm like, oh, this is where the old gods are. Or like a different flavor, because I still stand by the poem that I made before I moved out of Kansas, because people always associate the old gods with woods and stuff, and I was like, what about the gods of prairie? What about the like crackle in the air as a thunderstorm approaches, and the hawk watching the ground, and like all that kind of stuff. And I do think the old gods live in the prairie as well, but there is something so ethereal about being in a super dense forest. Also, one of the biggest differences, and I don't know if I mentioned this already, but there are no tall trees in Kansas. There just aren't. You come up here and it's just like there are regularly trees that are 4 or 5 stories tall. It's like everywhere too. They don't have tall trees in Kansas. It's just they just don't have them. Excuse me. Oh my god. I went fishing in Kings Canyon National Park, caught so many rainbow trout I could barely carry them. I've been mulling over whether I should buy, I guess it's like halfway through the year now, so it might not be worth it as much to get my partner and I fishing licenses, because my partner kind of got me into fishing a couple years ago. And we haven't done it since we moved up here because you have to have a fishing license. And there's not, I don't know. We would have to think about it. I would have to go, okay, which spots are we going to fish at? How often are we going to go fishing? Are we fishing to catch stuff? Like, am I going to be cooking or preserving any of this fish? And then you don't really want to fish out of the big rivers because there's so much sewage runoff from, like, whenever it's, like, the rainy season into the rivers. So, like, where do you go fishing? I've never been ocean fishing before. That could be exciting. But can you ocean fish successfully from the coast? Or do you need a boat to do that? I haven't looked into it. But I do love fishing. Portland was designed for about 10% of the current population. Nobody expected California to invade us during the 2008 housing crash. Yeah, fair enough. Evergreen forests in winter with a heavy layer of snow can be insanely silent. Yes. I want that. Bradley says there's something horrific about being somewhere that's flat, treeless, and rolling fields as far as the eye can see. I feel like I'm going to be scooped up by a big bird or something. That's a good instinct to have. That's your deep instincts of your original mammalian evolution. I feel like, Bradley, did you ask me a question earlier? Did I answer your question earlier? Oh, you did. Oh, okay. Bradley asked, if we can talk about COVID for a second, what does there need to be for you to feel safe with no masking or eating out at restaurants again? I legit have been masking for so long that I don't know myself. I would say, I mean, I don't know that I ever really want to go eat indoors at a restaurant again. I don't know that I really need that experience now that I kind of have mentally updated my framework to that of like, why am I LARPing having a servant? And it's kind of like uncomfortable in that context. So I don't know that I really need that. I guess there might be some really nice places that I want to go that might have outdoor seating. My friend was like, oh, there's this really great fucking, what is it called? It's like a brewery, but also they have, what do you call it? A place where you produce beer or like where you grow the hops. I don't know it's like brewery, maybe the right word. But he was like, oh, this place has outdoor seating and it's really cool. And I'm like, oh yeah, that I could go do that. So outdoors, I would be more likely to. But I think it's like a mental framework thing, right? As far as going anywhere without a mask, I don't know that I ever will because I know more now. And I know that there isn't going to be a major update of respiratory stuff. A hopper, fucking true. Beer garden. Thank you. Green Garbador knows what I'm thinking about. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I would never, ever, ever board a bus without a mask. I'm never, ever, ever going to go into a Walmart or similar store without a mask. Like, I just think that I just don't really have a desire to go back to what we were doing before. But when I'm saying, like, there isn't going to be a major update of air filtration systems, right? If the buses were like, we have upgraded and we have very expensive, very efficient, well-maintained air filtration systems, like if we basically got hospital grade air filtration systems and put them everywhere and like everybody was vaccinated and stuff, then maybe. But I just like, it's just normal for me now to wear a mask everywhere, and I'm already kind of an introvert. So it's like, yeah, anytime I want to go bowling, guess what? We go put on masks and we go bowling. We traveled across the country. We traveled from, and I think I can say this now without jinxing, we traveled from Portland to Kansas City, driving through like 4 states and stopping at gas stations that were quite busy sometimes, like stopping at the Loves and we both wore masks the entire anytime we would take the masks off in the car, put them back on when we're about to go do something, and we did not get sick. Like, we did not get sick crossing this country and coming in contact with hundreds of people. Attended a wedding, and the wedding was outdoors, but the reception was indoors, and we didn't get sick. So I just don't really feel like I need to go back to not wearing a mask. Like, I'm fine living my life this way. I'm also giving myself some hangups on even getting on planes for flying. I legit feel like I should expect I will get COVID if I take a plane. Yeah, so I think even if I were to wear an N95, the likelihood of getting sick on a plane, I will not do it. The reason why we drove to Kansas was because I kind of wanted to see, you know, how does this work, driving across the country to go home? And I would much rather drive for 2 solid days hanging out with the person that I like versus 1 single day of traveling on an airplane. I don't think I'm ever going to get on an airplane for so many reasons besides just COVID, but COVID is a big one. I see stuff like the Zero COVID community subreddit showing wastewater data plummeting in regards to signs of COVID. So it's got me thinking what it would take. Is there anything? So right now, we just got over, like, every single year, there is a lull. There's a low point in COVID cases. A relative low point, considering that now our low points are similar to our high points from like the first year or whatever. But also, like, wastewater numbers sometimes go down because testing is reduced. Like, a lower frequency of testing and fewer counties reporting. So the lower numbers don't necessarily indicate actually lower amounts of COVID. We're struggling really hard against a misinformation campaign surrounding that. So, yeah. I think it's, like, possible to get to a place where I would be comfortable not wearing a mask, but I just don't. I'm like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Like, a likelihood situation is like, it's probably not going to happen. So instead, I would just rather create community with people who share my values. You know? Flying is such a beautiful experience. I absolutely love looking out the window and seeing our beautiful planet below. I haven't been flying since before. No, that's not true. I have been flying since 9/11, but I was like 10 or something, being put on an airplane to go to New Mexico where my grandmother picked me up. And it's just so stressful. You know, you're near people, you're near strangers, you have to deal with. I try to avoid situations where I have to deal with the lowest common denominator of person. Does that make sense? Like, I don't really relish spending time in Walmart. Because it's like, this is just the average American, you know? And we are terrible people. So I don't really want to be, and, like, travel is such a high stress situation. I don't really want to be around your crying child. I really don't want to be around an entitled man who is yelling at a stewardess or whatever. I just have no interest in being in public, I guess, is kind of what I'm saying for the most part. Mephi, have a good night. Indeed. It's okay to fly. George Bush isn't going to crash your plane into a tower. Lamau. Yeah, but they could fall out of the sky for another reason. Do you know how the whistleblowers straight up got killed from the whole Boeing situation? Like, that's another reason why it's bad. That's another reason why I don't want to fly. It's, like, scary because we're having so many more accidents now. I'm fat. I would much rather road trip anywhere. Right. Rather than having that issue of, well, I purchased this second seat because that's the policy at this airline. Spirit Airlines just folded, which means that there also is no longer a cheap option for flying. Spirit Airlines is no longer in operation. They have closed, like, literally overnight, closed their doors and stopped doing business. They were going through some kind of financial restructuring, but because of the sudden increase in fuel prices because of the Iran situation, uh, yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, there isn't even an option anymore for flying cheap, which is so fucking stupid. It would be great if we just had high speed rail. I could see myself maybe, because that's the other thing, right, about being on a train for an extended period of time, is like I would need to eat and drink. And so I would like to have a private car. But I looked it up, and a private car on Amtrak is like $1,000 for a ticket to get from Portland to Kansas City on Amtrak. So it's just not really feasible at this time. And it still takes 3 fucking days. The Amtrak still takes 3 days, which is 1 more day than I could accomplish it if I drove. Shocks, welcome to the community, says I finally subscribed. Hello. Listen, we're just here to shoot the shit. I profoundly just am here to shoot the shit, and I'm only going to be here for another like 45 minutes, and then I have a really difficult therapy session to do later, so that's exciting. I had to sleep on the floor of the Portland airport thanks to Spirit. I won't miss them. Listen, I know that sometimes the service wasn't great, but just having a cheap option. So now flying in general is not going to be possible for lower economic status people. What are we looking at here? Oh, I don't want to watch some random woman crashing out on an airplane right now. TBH, Amtrak really sucks. I took Amtrak to Seattle once as a test. I wanted to relax and do some riding, but I couldn't relax because the tracks were so bad. So you couldn't sit down and write because the tracks are in such poor condition. So it's like a rickety. I have heard that about Amtrak, that it's like rickety and bouncy and so yeah. Dude, a private car is not worth it. The suite is shite and it gets delayed over long distance too much for me. Yeah, so I'm just saying, if I were to take a train, if I'm going to be on a train for 3 solid days, then I would need to eat and drink, and I don't want to take my mask off. So a private car would be the option where I don't have to take, where I can take my mask off and there's not a fucking stranger sitting next to me. But it does seem overblown. I'm like, it's $1,000. It's going to take 3 days to get there, and it's going to suck balls. VG says, this is all engineered. The haves don't want the have-nots to have the travel opportunity. Right. I saw a really great breakdown of the sort of the classist ripple effect that Spirit Airlines folding is going to have. Because, yeah, it does mean that people of lower socioeconomic status can no longer reasonably afford to fly. And it does seem there has always been this classist view of Spirit Airlines that, it's the, for lack of a better word, it's the ghetto airline. It's for those people. It is the Walmart of air flight, passenger flights. And so, yeah, there's always been this attitude and it's always, regardless of whether the service is perfect, and I'm not saying that the service was perfect, it's a fucking company and they're providing a service, and all of those companies have various shittiness that they engage in, right? Various levels of shittiness. So I'm not trying to say it was like they were providing an amazing service or anything, but that having a cheap option where it's not a bunch of bells and whistles. You don't need all the bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. My pen was jerking all over the page, ended up having to throw out the paper. So yeah, it's like the one train option is also just an absolutely garbage service. I don't want to be disrespectful. Can I share my photography? I don't think that people are allowed to share links. It's a YouTube default setting, by the way. It's like not something I have any control over. So people can't share links in the chat, and I apologize for that. Elira, thanks for joining the Horde. You get access to a couple of emojis, a couple of custom emojis over there. Hell yeah. I do think the next time I go to the next time I go to Kansas, I do think I would like to plan for it to be a little bit more of a relaxed drive. Like, maybe let's plan to stop somewhere and look at something pretty for an hour, or maybe let's take a slight detour, or maybe let's drive through the actual Rocky Mountains, because we went 84. We took 84 from Portland through Idaho down into Utah. And then from there, we kicked it over to I-80, and we went over into Wyoming. And then at Laramie, we went south on some fuck-ass road, and then eventually hooked up with I-25 on the east side of Denver. So by doing that, you're driving, like, through the mountains, but it's not the same as driving, like, through west of Denver. So I do think maybe this time, like, maybe the next time we go, I would like to maybe kick it south when we get to Salt Lake City, and then kick it east and go through, like, the most intense part of the Rocky Mountains there. Because as a kid, I've driven through those mountains, and, like, the kind of scary cliffside situation and everything. So I think, like, next time, this previous time that we drove down there, it was like, let's see how this goes. Let's try to cram it in. Let's try to make it as quick as possible. What's up, Lawrence? What up? Sorry I'm late. Yeah, no worries. We're just chilling. I'm talking about road tripping right now. Yeah, but I would really love to, the next time we drive out to Kansas for any reason, let's take it kind of slow. Let's maybe, like, leave on the Wednesday night and then drive for 2 days, whatever, if we're trying to show up somewhere on the weekend. Like, let's take it a little slower. Let's not just drive. Maybe let's take a little time to stop off and see something pretty, or take a road where you have to drive a little slower and enjoy the scenery and everything. Yeah. Was Matthew Shepard in Laramie? I didn't know that. That sucks. I'm grilling ribs for the family. Oh, I've been doing a lot of slow cooker meals lately, because a lot of the time I'm, like, working in the evening, and then I don't want to immediately stop working and then go over and cook dinner. So I'm trying to front load it. Thank you so much, Elira, for the gifted subs. I appreciate that. Y'all have been so generous today. Thank you so much. What was I in the middle of saying? I was saying something. This happens sometimes. The stupid grilling ribs for the family. So last night I made a meal that I have never made before, and that is pulled pork sandwiches. And honestly, it was pretty fire. It wasn't, like, mind-blowing in the way that, right, if you smoke a pork butt for, like, a while in a smoker, actually, and it kind of infuses it with all this flavor. So I'm not trying to say that it was as good as all that, but it was super easy. I just got a pork butt and put it in the slow cooker with some salt and some Worcestershire, and I just let it cook all day. And then I added a bunch of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce to it, and it was fucking delicious. Completely serviceable meal and super easy. So a little tip from me to you: if you have a slow cooker or an Instant Pot or whatever, that's an easy option. Now, one thing that I did do, as far as, preparing it and putting a little bit of extra effort into it, is I buttered and crisped the buns, because I'm like trying to, not really trying to, I have been incorporating a lot of cooking tips and tricks that I've learned, and texture is one of those things that I'm thinking about now more. So kind of, I learned about the flavor triangle before, so I'm like, I'm thoughtful about adding some salt to my sweet, or adding some sweet to my salt, or adding some acidity in, kind of keep things balanced, but also texture. If you have a white bread hamburger bun and then pulled pork in the middle, that's like soft, all texturally the same. It's mush. But I crisped up the bun because I was like, it's gonna need that little bit of crunch, that little bit of texture. And girl, it was so fucking good. It was delicious. And I'm sure the butter didn't hurt, right? The butter doesn't hurt. I haven't taken I-70, but I agree I-80 is windy and awful. I lost my mind the second time I did that drive. Yeah, I-80 can be pretty windy. Thankfully, I drive a little car, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Pulled pork sandwiches slap. Yeah, it's so easy. Slow cookers are the absolute shit. So many meals are possible by just hucking stuff in a pot and sort of forgetting about it for hours. Legitimately, yeah. And I have an Instant Pot. Shout out to whoever bought me that. I can't remember who it was. But, because you also have a saute setting on it where you can, like, brown. So whenever I'm doing a pot roast, I put the onions in first and I let them start to, like, saute. And then I brown the outsides of the beef before I then add in all the carrots and stuff. So then it's like slow cooking, but then you have, you have that nice Maillard flavor in there. So, but it's not necessary for a lot of things. You just like throw shit in there and just let it cook. It's so convenient. The only problem is like I have not yet fine-tuned my slow cooker meals to have like 0 leftovers. There's always a little bit of leftovers pretty much every time I make something in the slow cooker. So, and I personally am not a huge fan of leftovers because I'm not the best at following up and eating them. Like, actually, after this, I'm going to need to knock out some of the leftovers from a couple of days ago because I just didn't plan myself to have enough time to, like, make lunch before the stream started. So I just kind of ate some bread. TBH, I do think that the United States is simply too big for efficient or cheap travel. Intercity, however, has no excuse. I mean, but you have like bullet trains, right? That go like 250 miles per hour. And while, yes, it's still hundreds of miles that you're having to cross, or thousands of miles in some situations, like, you know, it's like 2,000 miles one way from Portland to Kansas City. That's still like at 250 miles per hour, that could be a much shorter trip. Like, that could be a much shorter trip than it is. Eating some bread is pretty pog. I mean, sometimes you just have to shove something into your gullet. Sometimes you just kind of have to eat whatever. And my tummy has been rumbling. Like, I need more protein. I've been working out hard this week, and I need more protein. Getting bread, true. Exactly, Gayfesh. Exactly. I fine-tune for the purpose of having leftovers and then eating those for the next day. Yeah, I should just plan it. I think that probably when I start school later, I will have less time and energy to cook. So I might end up doing like a batch of something on the weekend or whatever. So I keep tortillas on hand for something quick to eat, true. I also have many different kinds of chips. I just didn't want to have to, you know, eat and mute myself eating chips on stream. It's easier when I'm co-hosting because then I can just let the other person talk while I'm eating. The problem, Lux, is that we share the same tracks between passenger and cargo travel, and cargo is terrible on the rails. You cannot use a bullet train on rails that share with cargo. It would derail for certain. Yeah, to be clear, I am advocating for and understand that in order to implement high quality passenger rail, we would have to build new rails or seriously update the previous ones. Like, to be clear, I am fully aware that that's a massive infrastructure project. I just also think that it would be worth it to do so. Yeah, I'm definitely not advocating that we take bullet trains and put them on our existing infrastructure. That is terrifying. Imagine a train derailment at 250 miles per hour. That would be fucked up. But no, yeah, I do think we should just build new rail system, right? Like Eisenhower funded the interstate highway system, And that kind of really added a new element to traveling around this country. And it's highly effective, right? Like, we were on interstate highways almost the entire trip. The fact that they are well maintained, well regulated, large main highways with a lot of infrastructure in terms of, like, yeah, there's truck stops and gas stations and places to get food and everything, that there's like a little bit of an economy that has built around the interstate system. I think we could do something similar with high-speed rail, right? Like, just invest in it. But we are not investing in our rail system in general, right? That's the problem. We've had all these train derailments. There was the one in, was it called Palestine in like Pennsylvania or something a couple years ago, where there was like a major dump of chemicals because a train derailment occurred. So if we are not even keeping updated our rail systems that are carrying toxic fucking sludge chemicals from one place to another, you know, there's obviously a lack of desire to keep that stuff maintained at this present time, you know? We need a massive infrastructure investment, but we can't have trains because socialism. True. East Palestine, Ohio. Okay, it's really close to Pennsylvania, though. Stroads are a U.S. invention. Yeah, I hate Stroads. I really think that they make walkable cities fucking impossible. It's like, is it possible for us to have an interstate system, but not Stroads? Can we do that, maybe? Yeah, exactly. We would need to put the infrastructure for high-speed rail outside of cities, not through the middle of the cities. Right, yeah, we need a train station on the edge of town, not something that's going to barrel straight through. Dr. Pepper pork butt in the slow cooker is delicious. That sounds delicious. A new works progress administration can do so much. New railways, updates to the power grid, etc. I wanted to tie that into another comment. You know, we can do the infrastructure repairs, but it's more profitable to just leave it and pay the fines to rebuild after people die. Whether it's trains or electrical infrastructure, I'm frustrated with really both of those systems, given that, like, because it's a for-profit system and the shareholders require growth every quarter, that means that large maintenance projects are usually not prioritized, because that's a heavy investment by the company that might have to take service down temporarily, meaning you're not making as much money or not any money, depending on where the exact situation is. But it is exactly right. We would rather have massive forest fires from a lack of updated infrastructure for electrical grid. We would rather have massive chemical dumps and deaths from train derailments, and who the fuck knows what kind of cancer people are getting from those chemicals. And, like, we would rather do that and then pay for the cleanup, or, like, really meaningfully not pay for the cleanup, TBH, like, mostly just let those chemicals leach into the ground, and, you know, that's great. But that is one of the frustrating things about the capitalist system, is that even when infrastructure updates are desperately needed, even just to maintain our current system, like to maintain our current quality of life, to maintain our current economy, like, we're just letting that stuff rot, basically, in a way that endangers people. Because, yeah, we can't have the train inactive for 2 months while there's maintenance being done. I don't know. So fucking annoying, dude. Capitalism destroying everything it touches in slow motion. Yeah, that's true. Get the slow-mo guys on that. Coffee rub for pork. I've used it on pork shoulder before, and it's delicious. Coffee rub for pork. Okay, the autofill that it wanted to tell me was coffee rub pork chops. Do you, like, rub the coffee on and then grill it up that way. So like the coffee itself gets cooked onto the outside of the pork chop. That's interesting. This kind of reminds me of how I would really like to try mole. Like I want to try incorporating chocolate into some kind of savory dish because I haven't before. Like when I make chili, right? Like I could make chili with chocolate in it. I just haven't done it because I don't really know enough about it to make it good. But coffee rubbed pork strikes me as quite similar to like a mole. Coffee rub will likely work on billionaires too. Going to point out that China is as large as America and has high-speed rail covering the country, as well as being the forefront of all high-speed rail tech worldwide. Because they continue to invest, they are now creating a cargo freight line that will mirror the high-speed passenger rail. And they've also largely resolved the railgun problem, so that's fun. Hell yeah. I really love the gotcha that Jimmy's been pulling recently, where people are saying, oh, socialism has never worked, but then they also believe that China is a socialist nation. And it's like, okay, well, it seems like it's fucking working then, doesn't it? Like, they are the second global power and they could usurp us as the number one global power. And it's like, so you can't really say that socialism doesn't work, can you? Which, like, obviously that's built on a lot of dumb bullshit assumptions that conservatives make about China and socialism in general. But, you know, it's still funny. We truly are in the Chinese century. It's going to be interesting to see how that continues to evolve and change. Yeah, the communists are better at capitalism than we are, it turns out. It's fun. China is communist, though, aren't they? Do the people own the means to production in China, or does the government? I think also part of the point of the gotcha is that China is very obviously not a socialist nation. I don't really know a lot. If I'm being completely real with you, I do not know a lot about the economic structure in China. I know basically that they produce a lot of products that are very cheap, which to me means that like there's a serious problem of worker disenfranchisement. So, you know what I mean? Is like, can we really say that their economy is one that we would want to model off of if it's like predicated on a bunch of worker exploitation and like slave labor, basically? Like, Fesh says China actually executes their billionaires for crimes. Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, to be honest. No, Amber, I am not part of a system in that way. I have known numerous folks with DID or OSDD, but I myself am not one of them. Minus 1,000 social credit, true. For what it's worth, China is copying the American model of saying fuck poor people. It's similar to the Soviet Union. Right, like the Soviet Union wasn't socialist in that like they actually tried to make life better for everybody. They actively made life worse, and there was a dictatorship and it was authoritarianism, right? So maybe I need to brush up on these things. I need to like learn about the Soviet Union and what China's economy actually looks like and how they actually function. For the most part, the conversations that I take part in, I don't really need to know those things, but it might be good to know. Ugh. My understanding is that they are socialist, but with massive cities dedicated to capitalism. I mean, like, those are fun. Like, you can't be both. Like, either your economy is oriented around generating profit, or your economy is oriented around maximizing human well-being. It is, like, not possible to do both. You can try to mitigate the worst of capitalism with socialist programs, i.e., like a social democracy. But like, yeah, no matter what you do, even if you have super, super strong worker protections, there is always going to be a corporation trying to erode those protections unless you eliminate the ability for corporations to exist, or eliminate the ability for them to lobby, or eliminate the ability for them to fund, like that a corporation can't make donations or whatever, like limiting the maximum donations, blah 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 blah. Like, I think that those nations like Denmark, etc., are still susceptible to the problems. Excuse me. China is a weird one. The Soviet Union was state capitalist, and China was until the 90s. Now it's thoroughly capitalist, but also single party. Rough. How do I throw silver coins through the chat? Do I have any coin? I have a penny. I have a penny. Do you want me to puck myself in the face with this penny? I might do it. Take off my glasses so I don't destroy them. I want you to have real money. You can hold no cryptos. Yeah, I agree. I also want real money and no cryptos. Javon could probably explain China's system. Yeah, maybe I'll ask him, because I am going to be doing the show with him fucking tomorrow. Oh my god. I was complaining about it before, but now I regret. It's like, they're starting to do more formal debates, and it seems like Thursday is the best time. Like, nobody ever wants to be available on a Friday. Someone asked me earlier if the line has shows on Friday. Not really. Like, incidentally, sometimes if we feel like it, but we don't really, as a matter of course, have shows on Friday. We also don't typically have shows on Saturday, but we're starting to incorporate that more with the Devangelicals show. But they were doing like debates on Thursday, which was going to kick me off of my Calling It Now slot. But I guess there's been several people who fell through on organizing the debates situation. So then Jimmy was like, hey, do you want to do Calling It Now? And I was like, I fucking guess so. Like, I was looking forward to having one singular Thursday where I don't have to do anything, but sure. Yes. I'm a yes man when it comes to, hey, do you want to work more? I'm like, yeah. Yes, I'll cancel the thing that I was planning to do that day. Did they change the debate format? Because the initial one they did had a terrible format. If I'm being honest, I have nothing to do with the, what are they calling it? Jimmy is so good at coming up with names. Duologues. Like a duel, but it's a dialogue. Anyway, so duologues. I don't know what the deal is. I think that they have one coming up on on Tuesday next week. Let me double check my schedule, actually. It would appear that next week, the following week, on May the 26th, 12,026. I'm fully leaning in on a Holocene, by the way. I'll explain myself in a minute if anybody is tripped up by that. But yeah, it looks like they're doing a debate. I don't know with whom, but it looks like, yeah, at 8 p.m. Are we going to have to fucking cut the show short? Yeah, we will. Okay. Well, anyway, so yeah, they're doing a debate on Tuesday next week, and I hope that they've updated the format if the first time it was janky. I think the reason, Lawrence, I believe the reason why it was janky before was that the other people that they were debating had tech issues, like tech problems. The Holocene thing is very Cascadia coded. Well, good. I'm leaning into the stereotype that I've now accidentally accumulated. But yeah, I heard that there were lots of problems with the just like tech problems on the first debate. So yeah, we'll see. Isn't Ratioed Saturday? Ratioed is on Fridays. I am not participating this week because I didn't really feel strongly about the sitcoms topic, and I kind of wanted a break, TBH, because Friday, I didn't know if you knew this, but Friday is my only actual day off. And I usually end up doing something like a doctor's appointment or something on Fridays. So pretty regularly I take the Saturday streams if we have a show on Saturday, and since we're doing Devangelicals now, that means that like basically my only actual day off per week is Friday. So yeah, it's fun to do the show with Javon and them, but it's just like, damn, I'm trying to view it as this is me hanging out with my friends. I am hanging out with my friends, and try not to think too hard about the fact that I'm performing and I'm on camera and stuff. But tech issues and racism, true. That's what happens when you try to debate the conservatives. And so I think that's this week. Ratioed, which is, if y'all don't know, Javon Bradley has started doing like a fun debate show where I think he is going to be participating sometimes, but right now he's like MC. He's the MC, and he has 5 people come on, and there's like rounds and different questions that are like interrogating the issue from different angles. So the first one we did was who's the best superhero, which if you didn't see, I argued in favor of Omni-Man, which I thought was very funny. And then the most recent one we did was what's the best anime. And I'm really I was like bummed out because Arden got to have first choice since she won the first debate. She got first choice on which anime, so she took the one anime that I actually give a shit about. And yeah, so then yeah, the next one I believe is this week, and they're doing which is the best sitcom. Arden takes it so seriously. I'm like, I'm just trying to have fun. I don't prepare beforehand or anything. I'm just trying to chill. And then Arden's like, I'm coming for your throat. Like, she's like, I will win. I'm going to win. You say Arden is cheating, but fucking Jimmy explicitly cheated. Okay, I just want you all to know that on a technicality or because of cheating, Sword Art Online won the best anime competition debate that we had because Jimmy cheated and he created a special little soapbox for himself to plug the RFR fundraiser. And of course, everybody voted for the RFR fundraiser. RFR does good work. Recovering from religion, helping people through their deconstructions. So, like, of course, cheating won, but we know that Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is objectively the best anime, so clearly that's what won. Big Bang Theory as the best sitcom. See, I just actively don't like sitcoms for the most part, I think. So of course, I'm not gonna go all in on a sitcom. I'm like, I don't like the format. He couldn't win with his arguments, so he won on principles. I guess so. But people think that I made like the strongest arguments in the superhero one, and I did. I made a damn good argument for Omni-Man. It's just hard when most people have only watched the show. Although Jovan, who has read the comics, he was like, I'm still not buying this. I still don't think that this is a good argument or a good choice. And I'm like, that's fine. I didn't watch, but clearly FMA Brotherhood is the best. Literally, yeah. So we had Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I went in for Dragon Ball Z. Sword Art Online. Matt chose like some weird hentai. What was the last one? Frieren. Josie took Frieren, which was basically my second choice. So I got boxed out of my the two anime that I care about. Dandadan is so much fun, and I've watched it twice now. It's not, quote, the best, but it is the best I'm watching right now. I would recommend, if you haven't watched Mashle, you should watch Mashle, because it's very, very good. So if you're looking for a new anime right now, watch Mashle. You got me fucked up because Trigun and Cowboy Bebop are both in a 3-way tie with me for Brotherhood. Fair. I haven't watched Trigun or Cowboy Bebop. I mean, I've seen episodes here and there, but I haven't like sat and watched them, so I couldn't make a declarative statement about either of them. That's so cute. Chickadees built a nest in the corner of my roof by my kitchen, and the clutch has just hatched. So I heard little babby birds asking for worms when I was making my tea. Yes, Urotsukadoji. Yeah, that's the one that Matt defended. Mashle and Akane Banashi. Okay. I pretty much only watch anime right now when my partner is like, hey, I really want you to watch this anime with me. And then I'm like, okay. So I need to go back and watch Frieren, which I haven't finished, but also I was kind of not paying full attention to the last few episodes that we watched. You need to watch Trigun and Cowboy Bebop as soon as you can. Okay, I actually need a list. I think I need a true actual list of like, hey, these are like shows and stuff that I want to watch. I have a Trigun hat. The dub of FMA is fantastic. Yeah, FMAB is one of the only anime that I don't really mind watching the dub. But now I'm just kind of watching dubs all the time now, I guess. It's like not the same, but it's the best you can do sometimes. I will also accept either Avatar or Dragon Prince as answers. I did consider arguing. Okay, I really genuinely do. Okay, there's so many things about this. Arden chose Aang as the best superhero, and I actually fundamentally disagree that Aang counts as a superhero. Mina? Oh my god, hello. She just came in here and went, Aah! Except that it was much higher pitched than that, but my voice is fucked after talking for 3 hours, so I can't. Aah! There you go. That was closer. What are you doing, baby girl? Hey, baby. Oh. Did someone just rile you up? Is that what happened? Because you seem really riled up. Oh, you being so cute. Anytime she's being cute and she's like, you know, she's doing all this and like wallowing on the floor, she wants to fight you. You think, oh, she wants pets? No, she wants to fight. Almost exclusively. What was I in the middle of saying? Okay, so I genuinely think that Aang doesn't count as a superhero. He's not a superhero. It's not the right genre. Because here's the thing. I would have chosen Goku as the best superhero, except Goku isn't a superhero. It's a different genre. Just because he has powers and fights for good doesn't make him a superhero. So I actually strongly object to the inclusion of Aang in the superhero lineup. And of course, it was an easy sweep win for Arden because everybody loves Aang. You know, it was such an easy win. And I genuinely take a little bit of issue with it. And so I did think it would be funny to include, to choose Avatar The Last Airbender as the best anime. Because I genuinely do not think it's anime. It isn't. It's a totally different flavor, a totally different genre. Yes, it is respectful as it can be to Asian cultures in general, but it just is not in the genre. It is not an anime. I also disagree that Buffy was included. I think she's also not a superhero. What are you doing? She's just like making a lot of noise right now. But yeah, I also don't think that Buffy is a superhero. She's not, it's not the genre. I don't know, man. What constitutes a superhero? I mean, it's like, there's like, it's like hard to define a category, right? Because there are so many outliers and things, but like, it's about how the genre is written. It's about like the kinds of troubles that the main character gets into, the kinds of conflicts that the main character gets into. Usually there's like a clearly defined person trying to save people and a clearly defined singular villain. There's usually costumes involved in that situation. It has to do with, like, the kinds of superpowers that they have. And it's like, I'll know it when I see it kind of things, you know? That, like, in the law, sometimes something is not explicitly lined up. It's like, I'll know it when I see it. So, you know, it's like, it's a category that is defined by what you include and what you disclude. Or what you preclude. So I'm like, yeah, superhero, yeah, if it's like Superman, Spider-Man, there is, like, often a comics base in superhero genre. I'm actually not sure. Guys, is there anything that you would consider that's super clearly superhero genre but does not have a basis in comics? You know? I fundamentally disagree with you. The CW launched a decade of superhero shows that all used Buffy as their template. Are you talking about, like, The Flash? And Green Arrow and stuff? Like... Kitty says, I think Goku counts as a superhero before Aang does. Yeah. Exclude. Yeah, sorry. It's the end of the stream and I'm fucking stupid now. What is the necessary condition for being a superhero? Yeah. One Punch Man, not superhero. One Punch Man is a superhero. Or at least he exists in a superhero universe, right? Usually there's many heroes. Like, I think typically in a lot of these superhero universes, the hero is not the only hero. There's, like, someone else. Is Jessica Jones a superhero? No, she is a hero, but not... I would not say she's a superhero. Although I guess it's like, in that way, it's like, could you argue that Spider-Man is a hero and not a superhero? I think you could make that argument. It has to do with the scale of problems that they deal with also. So, like, if you're like, my main thing is, like, a dude... I mean, you guys were talking about robbing banks. Like, that's true that originally, like, some of the superhero comics had to deal with, like, bank robber levels of problems. Yeah, it's really interesting trying to refine what counts as a superhero. I just think very clear, like, I feel very strongly that Aang and Buffy and Goku all don't count. Shakespeare says, Samson from the Bible, the most unnecessary and hilarious story of a superpowered Hebrew with additional deductive prowess, with a clear weakness, and brings down an entire temple just because he's a badass. That's funny. Zoran Mamdani is my favorite superhero. His power, love. True. I think I put the emphasis. Zoran Mamdani. Sorry, I fucked his name up. What do you want, Mini Mina? Oh, you know what? She's right. It's time for wet food. So, I probably should wrap up stream now. Oh, I am going to be tired tonight. It's been a good, busy day. I've gotten a lot of shit done. I hope that I sleep well. Spidey is a street-level superhero, but still a superhero. Okay, that's fair. When I was younger, the superheroes saved the world a lot, and then Batman and Robin came along, and their only superpower was money. Nah, that's fair. Yeah. Okay. Spirited debate. Great topic. Love that for us. And yeah, but for now, I'm going to say goodbye. I think on Sunday, I'm doing Calling It Now again. So, yeah, I will not be doing this stream, but I'll do Calling It Now. So I'll ping y'all in the Discord when that happens. I'm doing Calling It Now tomorrow also. Just busy. Busy. But yeah, love y'all, and I'll see you next time. Bye.